Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Pokemon Scratch System. Chapter 1. Blue Star, Huasha Alliance, Rongcheng, Sichuan Province, a slightly dilapidated urban village. It was already nighttime, and Hoot Hoot's chants could be faintly heard outside the window, and the nearby residents fell asleep one after another. May the dream god bless you and have a good dream tonight. However, among these people, there was only one exception. In a poorly decorated hut, a handsome young man was sitting beside the bed in a daze. There was a small desk lamp standing on the desk beside the bed, emitting a faint light. The breeze from the window blew up his slightly messy bangs. Despite the breeze, Chen Yifan never fell asleep. After this night, tomorrow will be a crucial moment in his life. How can he sleep peacefully? Thinking of the moment when tomorrow is coming, Chen Yifan looked out the window. Only a few wisps of light could be seen, which is a scene often seen in this urban village. At the same time, it was a scene he didn't want to see again. Chen Yifan clenched his fists tightly, and then let out a little breath. The slightly nervous expression on his face gradually slowed down. Isn't the hard work I have been doing all the time just to live a better life in the future? No matter what the result is tomorrow, even if he gets a Caterpie, he will try his best to cultivate it, even if he can't get into a prestigious school. But there is a saying that is well said, the Pokemon who is not afraid of the trash is afraid of the trainer who is trash. He believes that with his own ability, the Caterpie of Common will also transform into a butterfly and evolve into Butterfree. One day, I and my mother will no longer be crowded in this hut of less than 40 square meters. Rest. Chen Yifan's eyes gradually became firmer. He turned off the lamp, got up and returned to the bed, covered with a thin quilt, closed his eyes, and changed his destiny. Tomorrow. This is Blue Star, a world full of miracles. There is a very magical creature here, whether it is on land, in the soaring in the sky, or in the sea, you can find them. This creature, known as Pokemon, is also called Pokemon. On this blue planet, everyone is a trainer, and they are all working hard to become a stronger trainer. In this trainer's world, the alliances of various countries dominate everything within their own borders, and the World Alliance wins over the relationship between countries. In this world, the law of the jungle is the norm, and only powerful trainers have the right to speak. In order to cultivate excellent trainers, the Alliance promulgated a decree 100 years ago. No matter who they are before graduating from high school, they cannot tame Pokemon. Knowledge is very important for a trainer, and you must also have a certain amount of culture and common sense, otherwise you can't even recognize Pokemon. What are you still a trainer for? This is also the main reason why Alliance restricts underage students from taking Pokemon. Although Pokemon can be conquered after graduating from high school, not everyone can afford Pokemon, so Alliance gave the majority of common students a chance. After graduating from high school, students can use their graduation certificates to arrange a unified time to go to Pokemon centers in various places to receive free Pokemon. Of course, Alliance is not a charity, so don't think about rare Pokemon. Usangia has become a common student the existence of the legendary level in their mouths. Free Pokemon are mostly just common Pokemon. Among them, bug-type Pokemon are the most common, such as Caterpie, Weedle, and Pokemon such as Rattata and Bidoof. Although most of these Pokemon are inherently weak, they are very malleable, and most of them have 2 evolutions, which is also convenient for the training and exercise of novice trainers. As for Pokemon such as housebirds, don't dream about it. In this world, the value of flying Pokemon has always been very high, and their combat effectiveness is extremely strong. It can be regarded as a real rare Pokemon. But don't underestimate the Pokemon issued by Alliance. As a trainee trainer, you can only tame 1 Pokemon. The choice of Earl Dervish Pokemon is very important. Although the Pokemon issued by Alliance are relatively common, they are all of good qualifications. Each Pokemon has the qualification of individual value, which determines their growth limit and combat ability, as well as the ability to comprehend and learn skills. Qualifications are specifically divided into common, excellent, rare, excellent, legendary, epic, and those that will not be recorded in Pokemon Pokédex and will basically not appear on non-mythical Pokemon. Myth. The Pokemon issued by the Alliance are all excellent level qualifications. If they are sold in the market, even a Caterpie is worth at least 2 Alliance coins, and the first Pokeball is free. You know, the most common Pokeball can also be sold for 1,000 Alliance coins. Taken together, this is an extremely impressive figure for a common family. Of course, these are all benefits for common family students. For rich families or families who want to give their children a good career, they usually don't waste the first Pokemon quota on these common weak Pokemon. Most of them are prepared at home. After all, there is only one Pokemon for trainees. And Chen Yifan is one of these vast masses of beings. Chen Yifan was born in Rongcheng from a poor family. His father was seriously ill when he was born and left him forever. His mother never remarried and raised him alone. He was born in a single-parent family, and it would be a fantasy for him to prepare Pokemon at home. Besides, even if his mother wanted to give it to him, he would definitely not want it. The better Pokemon cost more than 100,000 Alliance coins. With his family's income, he could go bankrupt in minutes. Chen Yifan's name was also named because Chen's mother missed her deceased husband. The deceased husband's name contained ordinary characters, but later she felt that she was not good at remembering characters, so she changed it to Yi, which was taken from the meaning of extraordinary and extraordinary. The mother and son have always depended on each other. Fortunately, his mother was a junior trainer. Although she reluctantly handed over her Pokemon to the Alliance to release them for the sake of making a living, she still relied on the allowance subsidized by the Alliance and a stable but low income. The job supports himself and Chen Yifan. They live in an urban village in the urban area of Rongcheng. Although the environment here is not good, the rent is not cheap, and Chen Yifan has never disappointed Chen's mother. He has always been among the best in cultural subjects since he was a child, and he has caught up with her in appearance, is a real handsome guy in the eyes of outsiders. Tomorrow is the day to receive free Pokemon, and it is also the moment when Chen Yifan wants to change his destiny. It is very important for him to draw a Pokemon that suits him. As time passed, Chen Yifan, who was restless on the bed, still fell into a dreamland. In the dream, he seemed to dream of the legendary journey of himself going all the way forward, defeating countless rivals, and stepping into the top of trainer. Ding! A suitable host has been detected, and the system is being bound. Early the next morning, Fan, wake up. Chen's mother, Liang Wenjing, knocked on the door of Chen Yifan's bedroom with the chopsticks for cooking noodles, waking Chen Yifan up. Chen Yifan sat up and rubbed his eyes. The morning sun shone through the glass on his face, giving off a different light. Stretching his waist, Chen Yifan suddenly discovered something miraculously. Today, he seems to be extraordinarily energetic and refreshed. Mom. After leaving the room door, Chen Yifan greeted him, turned around and went into the bathroom to wash up. Seeing Chen Yifan coming out, Liang Wenjing did not forget to tell him, breakfast will be ready soon, hurry up, don't be late for such an important day. Understood. Chen Yifan brushed his teeth with a toothbrush, and replied vaguely. After he finished washing, he sat on a clean stool in the small living room. Liang Wenjing brought over a large bowl of noodles, sprinkled with freshly made spicy oil and 2 fried eggs. Although it was simple, it aroused Chen Yifan's attention, appetite. Chen Yifan sucked on the noodles while Liang Wenjing sat aside, holding her hands and watching her son eating the noodles with a happy expression on her face, but then she seemed to think of something, and her face darkened. It's all because of my mother's incompetence. Mom. Chen Yifan interrupted Liang Wenjing, and looked at her seriously. Don't say that, we will get better, even if we are unlucky this time, but the momentary success or failure doesn't mean anything, trust me. In the future, we will definitely have a good life, 10 times, 100 times better than now. Seeing the serious son, Liang Jingwen was taken aback for a moment, then smiled gently, and patted his son on the head. Okay, Mom believes in you, and Fan of our family, he will definitely have great achievements in the future, he is a great trainer. Eat quickly, the noodles will be lumpy in a while. Chen Yifan nodded, and within a few minutes, a large bowl of noodles was wiped out by him. Wiping his mouth, he took out Red's Pokemon Pokédex from his school bag to check the time. In this world, Pokemon Pokédex has completely replaced the functions of mobile phones. It can not only view maps, Pokemon information, but also use the internet to make calls. As long as there are functions on the mobile phone, it also has various apps, which is very convenient. It is also a status symbol of the trainer, just like an ID card. After graduating from high school, Chen Yifan has long been classified as a trainee trainer, but he has no Pokemon yet, so the Pokemon list column of his Pokemon Pokédex is still blank. At the same time, in order to ensure the privacy of trainer information, the Pokemon Pokédex system is also closed. Except for trainer himself, no second person will know his Pokemon information. The time to collect Pokemon is 10 o'clock in the morning, and it is now 8 o'clock. Although the time is still early, the Pokemon Center in Rongcheng is in the suburbs, and it takes at least an hour to take the bus. Mom, I'm leaving. Go. The second after stepping out of the room, Chen Yifan turned around and smiled, just wait for my good news. Boom. This kid. Avertisement. Seeing Chen Yifan leave, Liang Wenjing smiled and shook her head, looking up at the picture of her husband hanging on the wall, her eyes became moist again. Husband, did you see it? Our son has grown up. Everything will get better. Chen Yifan's family lives on the third floor of this building. Because it is in the city center, the nearby transportation is very convenient. It takes only a few minutes to walk to the bus station. Along the way, you can see the passers-by with their own Pokemon. Although most of them are common Pokemon, Chen Yifan still feels envious. But soon, he gave up this feeling again, and soon he also has Pokemon, so there is nothing to be envious of. Pokemon are not allowed to ride on the bus. People waiting to get on the bus took back Pokemon into the Pokeball one after another. Chen Yifan also found a seat on the bus and sat down. During the long driving journey, Chen Yifan also saw a trainer sitting on an armored rhino running on the road dedicated to Pokemon, which was much faster than the bus. On soaring in the sky, there are occasional trainers with their own flying Pokemon flying over the roof of the bus. These trainers are all strong among trainers. In Chen Yifan's view, they are at least high-level trainers. Alliance's trainer level needs to be assessed by Alliance, and only trainee trainers do not need to be assessed. From low to high, trainers are divided into apprentice trainer, beginner trainer, intermediate trainer, advanced trainer, elite trainer, master trainer, elite trainer, and champion trainer. The strength of Pokemon is also roughly divided into trainee level, common level, good level, excellent level, elite level, master level, gym level, quasi-elite, elite level, champion level, and divine, which basically does not appear on human trainers' grade. The evaluation rules of each trainer are different, among which the master trainer is the most complicated, and the powerful gym master is also included in the master trainer, but the strength of the gym master can easily crush the common master trainer, and the gap is very large, big. In *** Alliance, the highest status is naturally the Alliance champion, followed by the Elite Four. And under the 5 of them, above hundreds of millions of people, is the 18th attribute Gym Master. Compared with the many high-level leaders of the Alliance headquarters, their status is even higher, which is equivalent to the ancient Lord Normal. His own gymnasium territory is the top leader and has a lot of power. Everyone may have a dream of becoming a master, and has been working hard for it, but when the ideal comes into reality, let alone a master trainer, even an elite trainer is a rare existence in the Alliance. The Pokemon Center is located on the outskirts of Rongcheng, occupying a large area of ground, especially in Rongcheng, the provincial capital, and the Pokemon Center represents the face of Sichuan province to a certain extent. The station ahead is coming soon, Rongcheng Pokemon Center Station. Passengers who want to get off the bus, please prepare in time. Today is the annual day for high school graduates to receive Pokemon. Here, Rongcheng Public Transportation Company wishes the students can get suitable Pokemon. The electronic sound of the bus reminded the passengers on the bus very humanely. Chen Yifan also smiled knowingly. After arriving at the stop, the door opened and Chen Yifan got off the bus. Yifan. Seeing Chen Yifan's appearance, someone from the seat on the platform immediately stood up and greeted him. The person who came was a tall, thin man who seemed to be in his 20s, wearing a conspicuous green turban, which showed that he was different. Hey, handsome or not? Leaning closer, Chu Rui hugged Chen Yifan's shoulders and grinned. The corner of Chen Yifan's mouth twitched, he looked at the guy's turban again, and nodded. I have to say. Finch Cricket. Don't get me wrong, there is no special relationship between the two. This is Chen Yifan's best friend and classmate, Chu Rui. Chu Rui's family background is common, of course, is much happier than Chen Yifan's, at least his parents are still alive, but he is not very rich, otherwise he would not have come here. Chu Rui is about the same age as Chen Yifan, but looks a little older. The two are next to each other, and Chen Yifan, who is 1.8 meters tall, is already tall among ordinary people, but in front of Chu Rui, Chen Yifan seems to be short and normal. There is no way, a small titan of 1.9 meters cannot afford to be injured. I don't know what Pokemon will be drawn today. Yifan, what Pokemon do you want? Anything, as long as it's not a Weedle. Ha ha ha, you don't like Weedle. That's the Beedrill. While chatting and laughing, the two arrived at the gate of the Pokemon Center. The security guard at the gate checked their Pokemon Pokédex and allowed them to pass. The Pokemon Center in Rongcheng was built very contest. The front door is an arched gate with marble-paved stone bricks lined up in an orderly manner. The Pokemon Center is large and divided into several areas. There is a battle area dedicated to trainer battles, a rest area for leisure and fun, and a service area for serving trainers and helping trainer Pokemon recovery. The place to pick up Pokemon today is in the service area. Tisk, there are so many people here. Hey, don't squeeze, don't squeeze. After entering the gate, Chu Rui yelled loudly, which is also normal. After all, most of the senior high school graduates in Rongcheng gathered here. After walking for another 10 minutes, the two finally found the place to collect Pokemon among the crowd, the trainer service hall with the red and white Pokeball logo. The students who came to collect Pokemon had a little excitement and hesitation on their faces. It was related to the road of life. Once they got better Pokemon, they might be able to get a higher score in the next martial arts exam. Even if the score in the literary test is not enough, but based on the score ratio of 3:7, there will be more universities to choose from. When the time came to 10 o'clock, there was already a long queue in the service hall. Seeing this, Chen Yifan and Chu Rui were about to queue up, when they suddenly heard a cute voice, Xiao Chen. The two followed the sound. Chen Yifan was slightly taken aback, and a strange smile appeared on Chu Rui's face. I saw a slim Stephanie waving her arms happily at Chen Yifan. Stephanie has a beautiful appearance, a standard oval face, long black straight hair, a simple white t-shirt on the upper body, and a sky blue one on the lower body. Denim shorts and a pair of straight and well-proportioned long legs attracted the attention of countless men. Why are you here? Hee, Zhang Meow Meow, you have even chased her husband here. The two said at the same time. Zhang Meow Meow ignored Chu Rui, walked straight over, put his hips on his hips and hummed, "What's the matter, can't I come here? Xiao Chen, do you despise me?" As he spoke, he looked at Chen Yifan aggrievedly. The little expression on his face was very cute. No, how could it be? Chen Yifan had a headache. What he couldn't stand the most was the appearance of this girl charm. What I want to say is, didn't you use it to claim Pokemon? Why did you return it? This black, long and straight beautiful girl, like Chu Rui, is also his classmate, Zhang Meow Meow. However, unlike Chu Rui and him, Zhang Meow Meow's family is very rich. Although he is not very rich in Rongcheng, Yang's father is still willing to spend several million to buy a more powerful Pokemon for his daughter. The two are classmates for 3 years in high school. In the class, Chen Yifan's performance in cultural subjects has always been either Chen Yifan's first, or Zhang Meow Meow's. It's a match made in heaven. Zhang Meow Meow thought the same way. She has always had a good impression of Chen Yifan. Even though she knew that Chen Yifan's family conditions were not very good, she never gave up. Confession. Facing Zhang Meow Meow, who was very active, it was impossible for Chen Yifan not to be moved, but Chen Yifan was still rational, and he still rejected Zhang Meow Meow. It's not that he feels inferior, it's just that he is calmer. Compared with Zhang Meow Meow's family, the conditions of his family are too big. The huge gap cannot be made up by him now. Not to mention anything else, let's just talk about where they live. His family lives in a village in the city, while Zhang Meow Meow's family lives in a group of villas. They are not of the same class at all. One is underground and the other is in the sky. He also didn't think that he might not have the opportunity to become a rich man like Zhang Meow Meow's family in the future, but looking at the present, he was indeed not qualified. However, it is undeniable that Chen Yifan still has a good impression of Zhang Meow Meow, but in high school, his mind was always on learning cultural knowledge, and he was not yet an adult at that time, so his thoughts on that aspect were relatively weak. I can reject Zhang Meow Meow because I don't want to fall in love in high school for the time being. I thought that Zhang Meow Meow's thoughts would gradually fade away, but who knows, Zhang Meow Meow's offensive is getting more and more intense now. In her words, since the old lady likes it, why are you still twitching, and it's over if you act decisively up. Hey, of course I came to see you. Zhang Meow Meow smiled playfully, and suddenly moved to Chen Yifan's side, grabbing his hand. Haha, you got caught by me, I tell you, I won't let you go. The tone was delicate and firm. You. Chen Yifan looked at the big girl amusedly, and didn't say much, but Chu Rui, who was beside him, was so sour that he ate a lot of dog food. Tisk, this dog and man. Zhang Meow Meow held Chen Yifan's arm, and her heart was about to melt. This was the first time she was so bold. It was incredible that Chen Yifan didn't reject her. She has never cared about Chen Yifan's family situation. She has always believed that no matter how poor Chen Yifan is now, it is only temporary. She likes Chen Yifan. There is no reason to like him. She just takes a look at him and thinks that she will marry him in the future, and she also believes that Chen Yifan will definitely be promising in the future. Both he and her will have a bright future. Thinking about it, Zhang Meow Meow giggled happily. The laughter provoked the people around to follow and see Zhang Meow Meow holding Chen Yifan's arm. One is charming and the other is handsome. They look like a good match, not to mention jealousy. Dog Day, come to get a free Pokemon, you have to show Bon love, right? I wish your turtle son draws Caterpie. Seeing the bright smile on Zhang Meow Meow's face, Chen Yifan was also stunned, and quickly turned his head away. Zhang Meow Meow pouted and turned his face away again, telling him to look at her directly. Facing the eccentric Zhang Meow Meow, Chen Yifan had no choice but to let the queen at her mercy. Let's go, let's line up quickly. Chu Rui was so sore that his teeth fell out. He grabbed Chen Yifan's other hand by force, and led the two of them to the end of the team. In order to ensure efficiency, the team was divided into 8 teams, but judging by the posture, it is estimated that there should be one. It's been 10 minutes. By the way, Zhang Meow Meow, where's your Pokemon? What did your father prepare for you? Chu Rui asked curiously, and Chen Yifan also looked over curiously. He also wanted to know what the first Pokemon of Zhang Meow Meow, who has always been in a good family, would be. Zhang Meow Meow raised her face, as proud as a little peacock. HMPH, I didn't tell you. Yo, what's the matter? Even Yifan didn't say anything. Chu Rui smirked, and looked at Chen Yifan winkingly. Zhang Meow Meow hesitated for a moment, but still shook her head, looked at Chen Yifan's suspicious eyes, and quickly explained, oh, later, Xiao Chen will know later, let's talk about it after you get the Pokemon. After another 10 minutes, the three of them entered the service hall with the team. The few people in front of Chen Yifan seemed to be unlucky. The ones drawn were either Rattata or Caterpie, and they all had sad faces and were not in a good mood. Zhang Meow Meow was also a little worried about Chen Yifan, and tightly grabbed Chen Yifan's clothes. Don't worry, I've been lucky. Chen Yifan smiled and patted Zhang Meow Meow's little hand, reassuring her. Regardless of whether the drawn Pokemon is strong or not, he will never give up. This is a trainer's due responsibility. Not long after, it was Chen Yifan's turn, and Zhang Meow Meow let go of Chen Yifan's hand and walked aside. Let's get started, classmate, press the button, wait for the machine to stop, and the dropped Pokeball will be yours. Seeing Chen Yifan seemed to be a little nervous, the service staff smiled and did not urge him any more. He also came here in the same way back then, but unfortunately, his luck was not very good. Otherwise, it would be impossible to stay here as a common staff member. Looking at the Easter egg machine in front of him, Chen Yifan took a deep breath and pressed the button. Xiao Chen, come on. Zhang Meow Meow whispered while clenching her fists tightly, looking excitedly at the shaking egg machine. Chu Rui behind him also raised his head to look over, and when Chen Yifan ended, it would be his turn next, and as a good friend, he certainly hoped that Chen Yifan could draw better Pokemon. When the shaking was over, a common Pokeball in red Baixiang fell under the Easter egg machine, and at the same time, a Pokemon appeared on the screen above the Easter egg machine. It is a gray long-eared rabbit with a pair of iconic front teeth. Bunnelby, congratulations. Ah, Bunnelby. In order not to affect Chen Yifan's emotions, Zhang Meow Meow and Chu Rui sighed secretly at the same time. Compared with Pokemon such as Caterpie, Bunnelby's combat effectiveness in the early stage is not bad, but it is not very strong among many free Pokemon. And there is only a period of evolution, and Diggersby's combat power after evolution can only be said to be passable, which is equivalent to drawing a medium lottery among a bunch of good and bad lots. Good luck, but not great. Chen Yifan himself didn't have any other ideas. Instead, he thought it was pretty good. He took Bunnelby's Pokeball in his hand and carefully observed the lines on the Pokeball. This is my first Pokemon. The corner of Chen Yifan's mouth curled up, and he left the team with the Pokeball and went to Zhang Meow Meow's side. He was about to use Pokemon Pokédex to check Bunnelby's information. But at this moment, there was a sudden shock in his mind. Ding! It is detected that the host has the first Pokemon, and the Pokemon Scratch system is officially activated. Congratulations to the host, activate the system. With this system, you will experience an unprecedented pleasure. Since this system is a Scratch mode, the host can get a Scratch reward every natural week, a Mega Scratch reward every month, and a Research reward every year. Great Scratch reward. Scratch cards are divided into 6 levels, from low to high: Bronze Scratch cards, Silver Scratch cards, Gold Scratch cards, Purple Gold Scratch cards, Diamond Scratch cards, and the most powerful Super Ultimate Scratch card. Each level will have corresponding rich rewards. The common Scratch reward obtained in the natural week is to randomly draw a Bronze Diamond Scratch card of any level, and the Mega Scratch reward will exclude the Bronze Scratch card. In Silver Ultimate, the Scratch cards are randomly selected, and the Ultimate Scratch rewards exclude Bronze and Silver grades, and are randomly selected between Gold and Super Ultimate. In addition, if the level of the host trainer increases, there will also be corresponding Scratch card rewards. When winning a certain competition, Scratch cards of corresponding difficulty will be rewarded according to the difficulty of the competition. This system does not have an intelligent program, nor can it answer questions. As long as the host has the number of card scratches, it can be scratched as long as the system is summoned in the heart. There is no deception, and there is absolutely no time. Start now. Scratch it. Chen Yifan froze on the spot in a daze, listening to the chatty system in his mind say a series of words that seemed to him to be a joke. Seeing Chen Yifan being silent all the time, Zhang Meow Meow thought that Chen Yifan felt very sad because the Pokemon he drew was not strong. Immediately shaking Chen Yifan's arm, Charm said, "Xiao Chen, don't be sad, okay, actually I don't like my Pokemon very much, why don't we exchange it, anyway mine is yours and yours is mine too, yeah, I kind of like Bunnelby too." Chen Yifan came back to his senses with a little confusion in his eyes. After hearing Zhang Meow Meow's words, he blinked and turned to look at Zhang Meow Meow, who was looking at him worriedly. How can anyone exchange the Pokemon that his father spent at least several million for the tens of thousands worth of Pokemon sent by Alliance? This silly girl. Chen Yifan was so moved that he was speechless for a while, gently rubbed Zhang Meow Meow's little head, and said in a warm voice, "I'm not sad, why are you so stupid, your Pokemon is yours, there is no reason to exchange it, don't say such things in the future." "Oh, well, I'll listen to you." Zhang Meow Meow nodded her head, relieved to see that Chen Yifan's mood didn't seem to be affected in any way. "Seal, congratulations." Yeah, at this time, Chu Rui's drawing results also came out. Seeing that it was Seal, Chu Rui was so happy that he almost jumped up. Like a 3-year-old child, he quickly thanked the staff a few times, looking at the Pokeball, he walked over excitedly. The people who were still in line also had faces of envy and hatred, obviously still feeling very unbelievable about Chu Rui's good luck. Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow were also surprised. I have to say, Chu Rui is really lucky. Seal with a species strength of 325 is not weak in the early stage, and it is extremely not weak for trainees, let alone Dugong whose species strength reaches 475 after evolution. The most common seal can sell more than 100,000 Alliance coins on the market, not to mention the excellent qualifications issued by Alliance. It is estimated that among the Pokemon released by the Alliance this time, the number of seal will never exceed 3, which can be drawn by this guy. I have to say that sometimes the European Emperor is really hateful. You guy, you're lucky. Chen Yifan patted Chu Rui with a smile, sincerely happy for his friend, but he didn't think his Bunnelby would be much weaker. Sometimes species strength doesn't mean everything. You idiot, you're really stepping on dog shit. Why doesn't this kind of good thing happen to my little Chen? But forget it, congratulations. Zhang Meow Meow on the side muttered a few words, but still sent her blessings. Ha ha ha, it's rare to get a few good words from Miss Zhang. It's not easy. Chu Rui was not affected in the slightest, and happily entered her seal information with her Pokemon Pokédex. At this time, Chen Yifan also saw the Bunnelby information displayed on Pokemon Pokédex. Pokemon. Bunnelby. Attribute. Normal. Ability. Cheek pouch. Species strength. 237. Qualification excellent. Strength trainee level. Skills mud slap, tackle. Note Bunnelby is good at digging out nests in the ground with big shovel-like ears. He has the power to cut off thick tree roots and use that power in battle. The data and what Chen Yifan thinks are generally correct. The well-qualified Bunnelby has innately learned mud slap and tackle, 2 attack skills, and still has a lot of combat effectiveness. Without thinking about it, Chen Yifan took back the Pokemon Pokédex, looked around, and suddenly said to the two, "Wait for me for a while, I'm going to the bathroom." "Okay, go, hee, does Xiao Chen want me to accompany you?" Turning a blind eye to the grinning Zhang Meow Meow, Chen Yifan passed through the crowd and arrived at a shady and secluded place nearby. He didn't really want to go to the toilet, but escaped by urinating. As expected, he still cared very much. Is the so-called system in my mind real? System, is it there? Chen Yifan recited silently like this, but after waiting for a while, the original chatterbox-style system became silent at this moment, and ignored him. Chen Yifan was a little disappointed. It seems that there is really no intelligent program. Another method, system, scratch the card. As soon as the thought was sent out, a voice in my head was heard. Ding. It has been detected that the host has not used the scratch card this week, this month, or this year. There is currently a common scratch reward, a mega scratch reward, and an ultimate scratch reward. Draw a scratch card for you immediately. Ding. The draw is over. Congratulations to the host. The common scratch reward will randomly get a bronze scratch card. Congratulations to the host. The bronze scratch card has been removed from the mega scratch rewards, and a gold scratch card will be randomly obtained. Congratulations to the host. Bronze level scratch cards and silver level scratch cards have been eliminated from the ultimate scratch reward, and a gold level scratch card will be randomly obtained. The reward is about to arrive in your hands, please pay attention to check. Before Chen Yifan could react, he suddenly felt that there was something extra in his hand. He opened his palm and saw that it was 3 scratch cards. 1 is bronze in color and 2 are yellow gold, which are not much different from those selling welfare lottery tickets outside, except that the pattern on the card is simpler, with only a layer of silver coating covering the so-called huge rewards. Facing the strange things that happened to him, Chen Yifan swallowed, still a bit in disbelief. This is actually true. Chen Yifan smiled wryly. Sure enough, his luck in the lottery draw is really not good. The random scratchers are delighted to get the lowest level bronze level scratch cards, and the ultimate scratch off cards are also gold level guaranteed. Got gold level. Looking at the 3 scratch cards in his hand, Chen Yifan moved his hand. The first one was naturally a bronze scratch card. As Chen Yifan scratched off the coating, a line of small copper-colored characters appeared on the scratch card. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the bronze level scratch card reward, qualification improvement card bronze. The item has been stored in the system backpack, and the host can take it out by meditating. Qualification improvement card bronze. Improve Pokemon's qualification and upgrade Pokemon's qualification to rare qualification. Pokemon with rare qualifications will not be upgraded after use. Qualification improvement card. Chen Yifan's hands trembled subconsciously. If he read it correctly, it means that this card can improve the qualification of Pokemon. His Bunnelby is an excellent aptitude, which can be upgraded to the 1 in a million rare aptitude after use. Rare qualification. Chen Yifan is a little short of breath. Any Pokemon with rare qualification on the market starts at more than 20W, and often has to increase the price to buy it. If this aptitude improvement card is used by a valuable Pokemon with excellent aptitude, then the value of this card is at least 1 million. Millions of fortunes at your fingertips, or the most trashy bronze level scratch cards. Chen Yifan never thought that the rewards of this scratch-off system would be so generous, but he will not be short-sighted, let alone whether he has the money to afford a valuable Pokemon with excellent qualifications. Even if he can afford it, he will not do it. Bunnelby is the only Pokemon that can be used now, is closely related to everything about him. The stronger Bunnelby gets, the stronger he gets. Chen Yifan's heart suddenly became hot. If it was before today, no matter how confident he was in himself, he would not have thought that he would have many chances to become that unattainable master trainer. For the children of the common family said, "Master, it is really an unattainable dream. It is difficult for a poor family to produce a noble son, this is a unified rule in any world." But now, Chen Yifan lowered his head and fumbled for the scratch card in his hand. He knew that his future, perhaps, was coming. He not only wants to become a master trainer, but also a stronger gym class, elite class, and even a champion class. His head was hot for a while, but Chen Yifan still calmed down. These are still too far for him as a trainee. What he can do now is to make himself stronger. Bronze level scratch cards have drawn such good things, so what will happen to these 2 gold level scratch cards? Chen Yifan couldn't wait to scratch a gold level scratch card. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the gold level scratch card reward, the skill learning machine Iron Head, which has been stored in the system backpack. Skill learning machine Iron Head Pokemon can directly learn the steel skill Iron Head after using it. It does not take time to master it, and it disappears after use. Note: only for host use. In this world, if Pokemon wants to learn skills, in addition to relying on their own comprehension practice or a flash of inspiration during evolution, they can also use the skill learning machine. But in reality, the skill learning machine is not only expensive, but also has a troublesome production process. The most important point is that Pokemon must have a strong enough understanding of the skill to make it. This is equivalent to imposing one Pokemon's perception of the skill on another Pokemon's mind, and there is no direct learning, at least there will be a buffer period of a few days. It can only be used once. The skill learning machine rewarded by the system can directly learn the skill, which is scary. Chen Yifan once read about the price of the skill learning machine. If his memory is correct, Iron Head is a kind of powerful skill with a power rating of 80. It is also a skill that many Pokemon can learn. It sells for 70 or 80 won absolutely no problem. Of course, the learning machine of the system cannot be sold, and he will not sell it. His Bunnelby can also learn Iron Head. Chen Yifan smiled and shook his head. Although the gold level scratch card rewards are not as perverted as the bronze level one just now, they are also very good. This is Iron Head. How can he learn skills at this level of Bunnelby? Scratch off the coating of the last gold level scratch card again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the gold level scratch card reward, Pokemon Ability Conversion Card Gold. It has been stored in the system backpack. Pokemon Ability Conversion Card Gold. It can convert Pokemon's abilities, and can only be selected among the Pokemon's abilities. Ability is divided into Common Ability and Dream Ability. Dream Ability can only be owned by a very small number of Pokemon, and it is basically better than Common Ability. Of course, it is not absolute, but one thing to remember. A strong Pokemon does not necessarily have a Dream Ability, but a Pokemon with a Dream Ability must be very strong. Qualification Promotion Card, Iron Head Skill Learning Machine plus Ability Conversion Card, Triple Blessing. Chen Yifan just wants to say something to his Bunnelby now. Woohoo, take off. Take out the skill learning machine from the system backpack. The skill learning machine rewarded by the system is no different from the ones sold outside. The qualification improvement card and the ability conversion card are just 2 cards. They cannot be taken out yet, just like playing games. Choose your own Pokemon object to use in the system backpack. Insert Iron Head's skill learning machine into Pokemon Pokédex, click on the only Bunnelby avatar in your Pokemon list, and the learning machine starts to load. A few seconds later, the learning machine popped out, the color turned gray, and it shattered into ashes when it was touched. Chen Yifan first clicked the qualification promotion card to Bunnelby to use. Ding! Congratulations to the host, the qualification of Pokemon has been improved. The qualification of Bunnelby has been upgraded to rare. At the same time, the skill Quick Attack is automatically comprehended. Chen Yifan looked happy. which was a surprise. Quick attack, for the early Pokemon, it was too practical. Then click on the ability conversion card, and 3 options suddenly appeared in my mind, all of which are abilities that Bunnelby can have. Cheek pouches and picking up are the most criticized abilities of Bunnelby, and they are also the main reason for their low value. In fact, these 2 abilities are really useless in combat. Although picking up can be found in Wild Adventures Baby, but the odds are pitifully low. Cheek pouches are even more extreme, and the value of the berries is extremely high. Even the lowest value recovery berries will not be lower than 1W Alliance coins. This is a life-saving straw for adventures in no man's land. In addition to these 2 abilities, Bunnelby still has the Dream ability, which is also the ability that makes Chen Yifan most excited. Hercules. Needless to say, this ability is known to everyone who understands it. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is a divine-grade ability. If there is a chance in the future, Chen Yifan would also like to try it. The Slacking, which is known as the strongest on the surface except for the beasts, will have a Hercules ability. That picture must be so beautiful that people dare not look at it. Chen Yifan decisively chose the Hercules ability. After some manipulation, his Bunnelby selected the following materials. Pokemon. Bunnelby. Attribute. Normal. Ability. Hercules Dream ability. Physical strength has been greatly strengthened. Qualification. Rare. Strength trainee level. Skills Mud Slap, Tackle, Quick Attack, Iron Head. Chen Yifan pressed the button in the middle of the Pokeball, and as the Pokeball flashed red, he released his Bunnelby. Dig. Bunnelby greeted Chen Yifan very energetically. From his eyes, we can see the extraordinariness of this little guy. The Pokemon released by the Alliance are relatively docile and will not hurt people. Don't think about Pokemon like Ekans. Few trainees can control them. Hello, Bunnelby. From now on, we are partners fighting side by side. Chen Yifan touched Bunnelby's head and smiled. Come on together. Do go. Bunnelby narrowed his eyes happily, and stretched out his long and big ears to shake Chen Yifan's hand. By the time Chen Yifan took Bunnelby back, half an hour had passed since he went out. Oh, I'm going to go to the toilet to get you out. Look at our Miss Zhang, I'm almost waiting for you. I'm afraid you will run away. If I don't stop you, maybe I will go to you gone. Chu Rui joked that at this time he was teasing his seal, which was to cultivate feelings. Chen Yifan smiled and didn't answer, turned his head to look at Zhang Meow Meow, whose face was slightly red, and said softly, have you been waiting for a long time? No, as long as it's Xiao Chen, I'm willing to wait. Zhang Meow Meow said in a low voice, although she didn't say anything, but she couldn't hide the joy in her eyes. She squatted down and touched the Bunnelby under Chen Yifan's feet. Wow, so cute, Xiao Chen's Pokemon is more silly big and cute. Yeah, you're right, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I understand. Chu Rui said not to be outdone, and winked at the same time, making the always bold Zhang Meow Meow blush. Chen Yifan smiled. Although he had only been out for half an hour, it seemed normal in another life. When he saw Zhang Meow Meow again, some thoughts that he shouldn't have before were ready to come out. After having the system, he should also make changes. Chu Rui also put down Seal at this time, and Seal walked towards Bunnelby. He thought that the 2 little guys would get along well, but unexpectedly they got into a fight when they met. It was Bunnelby's rival, who staggered and was knocked to the ground by Bunnelby. Seeing this scene, Zhang Meow Meow and Chu Rui couldn't hide their surprise in their eyes. This Bunnelby is a bit powerful. Chen Yifan picked up Bunnelby, rubbed its head, and scolded with a smile. It's so naughty, why are you still fighting, and you still haven't apologized to Seal? Dig dig. Bunnelby turned his head arrogantly, refusing to apologize. Chen Yifan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This little guy has entered the rebellious period, and Chu Rui hugged the aggrieved Seal in a funny way. The 2 little guys are still like children, and they need to be taught slowly. Zhang Meow Meow rolled her eyes and suddenly asked, Xiao Chen, what shall we do next? Chen Yifan and Chu Rui glanced at each other and shook their heads. I don't know, how about going to eat? What are you eating? It's not until 12 o'clock. You've already received Pokemon. How about this? Let's go to the battle zone, you, fight with me. Zhang Meow Meow patted her small breasts that were vaguely in the B+ and had a C-like scale, and gave Chen Yifan a taunt look. Hey, That's good, Yifan. If you still don't agree, you have to accept the challenge of our lesbians no matter what. Chu Rui did not forget to fan the flames. Chen Yifan has a headache. What does this little witch want to do again? However, what about fighting? Chen Yifan thought about it, and then looked at the Bunnelby in his arms. In fact, he also wanted to know how powerful his Bunnelby is now. Moreover, at the same time, you can see what Zhang Meow Meow's Pokemon is. Okay, I promise you. In this way, the three went to the battle area in the center of Pokemon, where there is a battle table specially used for battles. Except for the battle platform, under normal circumstances, all trainers are not allowed to fight in other places in the city. After all, even Pokemon who are trainees may cause damage to the surrounding vegetation, not to mention that stronger Pokemon will also damage the city. Broken. Today's battle zone is extremely lively. 50 or 60 battle tables are all lined up. The three of Chen Yifan have to wait in line, but it's understandable. After all, I just got a Pokemon, so how could I not give it a try? What about your own strength? There is a fee to use the battle table, but the fee is not high. It only costs 20 alliance coins. The battle table is specially made, and the material defense is strong enough. What a loss. Chen Yifan took the initiative to pay the money and received the number plate. Zhang Meow Meow didn't say anything. After Chen Yifan paid the money, he said, Xiao Chen, since we want to compete, why don't we make a bet, otherwise it's okay to just play against each other. Meaning? What bet? Chen Yifan asked curiously, and Chu Rui on the side also seemed interested. A smile immediately filled Zhang Meow Meow's pretty face. It's a bet. He looked Chen Yifan up and down, and said reluctantly, it seems that you have nothing to bet on. Otherwise, if I win, you will be my boyfriend. Chen Yifan was stunned, and Chu Rui was also stunned, and then he laughed and said, wow, Zhang Meow Meow, why don't you dare let us watch Pokemon, so everyone is waiting here, ha ha ha, it's wonderful. How about it, bet or not, if I lose, you can put forward any conditions, any punishment. Zhang Meow Meow blushed slightly, and said anxiously. Chen Yifan came back to his senses, looked at the pretty girl in front of him, and suddenly felt a sense of shame in his heart. If he missed this Stephanie, he would never be able to forgive himself. Okay, I agree. Chen Yifan nodded in agreement. Zhang Meow Meow, who originally wanted to talk, was taken aback when she saw Chen Yifan being so straightforward, and then a raging fire ignited in her eyes. Xiao Chen, you have to keep your word. If you cheat, I won't talk to you anymore. Chen Yifan smiled, and stretched out his hand in front of Zhang Meow Meow, a word from a gentleman. A 4-horse is hard to catch. Zhang Meow Meow answered. The two clapped hands and smiled at each other. Seeing this scene, the smile on Chu Rui's face gradually disappeared. No, what the hell is he happy about? Number 211, is number 211 here? At this time, the horn of the nearby battle platform sounded. Chen Yifan looked at the number plate. They happened to be number 211. Let's go. Yeah. After handing over the number plate to the staff, the two entered the battle stage. At the same time, a thin layer of shield was formed on the edge of the battle stage. This is the black technology of this world, the protective shield, which is specially used for Pokemon battles. It is used to prevent the Pokemon attacks from the battle and hurt the audience accidentally, and to avoid being knocked down by rival. The protective cover of the Pokemon battle platform is not high, but it cannot be broken by trainees. The protective cover is usually soft on the outside and strong on the inside. It can be broken from the outside with a poke, but it will not be broken from the inside. Xiao Chen, are you ready to be defeated by me? Zhang Meow Meow is full of confidence. Since she made this request, she must have a lot of confidence. Even Xiao Chen will be defeated by her honestly. From then on, Anan just followed her with peace of mind. Get ready, come on. Chen Yifan nodded and smiled. He had taken back the Pokeball from Bunnelby just now, and this time he took out the Pokeball again, and the red light flashed. Enter Bunnelby. There is still a sense of ritual. As the first battle, how could it be possible not to let Pokemon come out of the ball? Zhang Meow Meow also took out a black and yellow Ultra Ball from his pocket, which is different from the common Pokeball, which is the most expensive Pokeball on the market. A value of 5W Alliance coins, the price of the slightly inferior Great Ball. There are also 1W Alliance coins. There is no difference between these two Pokeballs and common Pokeballs in terms of subduing Pokemon. The reason for the high price is inside the Pokeball. It is said that the environment inside the Pokeball is very different, just like the houses that humans live in. One is a dilapidated thatched cottage, and the other is a brand new big villa. Anyone wants to live in a big villa, and Pokemon can be more comfortable in it. Zhong Meow Meow showed a sly smile and pressed the button in the middle of the Ultra Ball. Come out, my darling. Fennekin. Firefox. The Pokeball opened the cover, a red light flashed, and a petite and cute fox with big ears appeared on the field. Fennekin. Sure, Zhong Meow Meow, it's hidden deep enough. Chu Rui's pupils in the audience shrank, and he shouted out in surprise. Chen Yifan was also surprised to see the Fennekin with its big furry tail on the stage, just as proud as its trainer. Sure enough, there is a Pokemon for every kind of trainer. Pokemon. Fennekin. Attribute. Fire. Ability. Fierce fire. When the physical strength drops to a certain level, the damage of fire skills will be increased. Species strength. 307. Qualification. Rare. Strength trainee level. Skills tail whip. Catch, Ember. Avertisement. Note. Fennekin, fox Pokemon. As long as you eat twigs, you will be very energetic. You can spit up the heat of more than 200 degrees Celsius. Fennekin is a Pokemon with strong emotional ups and downs. Even if you are very anxious, you will act immediately for your trainer. Although I had already guessed that Zhong Meow Meow's Pokemon would not be too bad, but I never thought that it would be this one. If every trainee could choose their own Earl Dervish partner, there is no doubt that no matter who they are, they will definitely choose one of the 24 Pokemon that are known as the most suitable for novice trainers. These Pokemon are also known as Usangia. The origin of the Usangia is that before the ancient times, when the Alliance was not yet unified, every region in the world had iconic and powerful Pokemon, which were fire, water, and grass. The people called the Usangia. The power and growth of Usangia is the best among all Pokemon. At the same time, the price is also very impressive. Because Usangia is too popular, it is often priceless in the market. Usangia does not have common qualifications. Usually, the price of a Usangia with excellent qualifications is above 200W. Chu Rui's exclamation also attracted the attention of the people nearby, and they all turned their eyes to the battle platform, and there were exclamations one after another. It's like suddenly driving a Ferrari worth several million to a group of common cars with only tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. It's too prominent. Chen Yifan also became serious at this time. Although he agreed to the bet, he did not say that he would deliberately lose to Zhong Meow Meow. As a trainer, winning every game is the most correct choice. Dig. Firefox. The two Pokemon also looked at each other, fighting intent rose in their eyes, and the Pokemon's natural fighting will burst out. The battle is imminent. Fennekin, beat it for me, come on. Firefox. Hearing Zhong Meow Meow's order, Fennekin opened his mouth slightly, and a group of red embers rushed towards Bunnelby. Chen Yifan squinted his eyes. Bunnelby, avoid it. Dig. Bunnelby's eyes tightened, and he turned quickly to avoid Ember's attack. Seeing that Bunnelby's reaction was able to avoid Ember, applause immediately erupted from the audience. Fennekin, come again. Seeing that Bunnelby escaped the Ember attack, Zhong Meow Meow shouted coquettishly, not reconciled, and issued the command again, and another group of Ember attacked. Quick attack. Chen Yifan naturally wouldn't sit still. Bunnelby moved his legs and turned into a white light on the field. Quick attack turned around again under the eyes of everyone to avoid the incoming Ember attack. Bunnelby under the white light rushed straight towards Fennekin. Zhong Meow Meow bit her mouth lightly, and Chen Yifan's Bunnelby was really fast, which she did not expect. Although Fennekin can't avoid the super fast quick attack, it should be no problem to resist a quick attack with Fennekin's defense. As long as it passes through, Fennekin's counterattack time will come. I thought it was just an ordinary quick attack, but everyone on and off the field did not expect that it was indeed the next result. Using quick attack, Bunnelby quickly came to Fennekin, stretched out his long ears, and slammed into Fennekin. With a dull sound, under Zhong Meow Meow's unbelievable eyes, Fennekin could only let out a scream before his body flew backwards and fell to the ground with a heavy plop. Bunnelby wanted to take advantage of the situation and continue to attack, but Chen Yifan quickly called back, only to see that Fennekin, who was lying on the ground, was motionless, and his small eyes rolled in circles. Fennekin is disabled. Spike. The original heat atmosphere on the field seemed to have come to a standstill, and the few spectators watching the game looked at each other in blank dismay. No one thought that Fennekin, who is the Usanjia, would one day be killed by a Bunnelby. Chu Rui also puffed up his eyes. No wonder his seal was easily overwhelmed by Bunnelby. What the hell, it's also Earl Dervish Pokemon, why is yours so excellent? The Pokemon sent by the Alliance will also slip through the net fish. Fennekin. The battle was over. Everything was so sudden, it started suddenly, and it ended suddenly. Zhang Meow Meow pouted, and hugged Fennekin in frustration, her perfect plan, with Fennekin's defeat become to an end. This is also normal. She just got Fennekin not long ago. Fennekin is a blank slate just like her, so how can she not have any battle experience? However, I really didn't expect that Xiao Chen's Bunnelby would be so powerful, so strong. He is indeed the man she likes. It's okay. Chen Yifan also came over with Bunnelby, a little embarrassed, for fear that Bunnelby might hurt Fennekin too much, and he didn't expect that Bunnelby's attack power of Hercules' ability would be so strong, and 3 scratch cards were drawn. All the rewards were spent on Bunnelby, and his painstaking efforts were really worthwhile. Zhang Meow Meow shook her head in disappointment. Fennekin was fine, just lost the ability to fight, and she also lost the bet. Looking up at Chen Yifan, Zhang Meow Meow pursed her lips. I lost, let's talk, I will accept any punishment. Chen Yifan didn't speak. The Pokeball in his hand flashed red, and he took Bunnelby back into the Pokeball. He pulled Zhang Meow Meow up again, and dragged her off the battle stage. Zhang Meow Meow was dragged out by Chen Yifan in a daze. Chu Rui, who was about to follow up, saw Chen Yifan's gesture of waving his hands, and did not follow again. Along the way, the two of them agreed without speaking. Zhang Meow Meow looked depressed and was led away by Chen Yifan like a log. She thought that Chen Yifan thought of punishing her and dragged her to do it. When the two walked out of the battle zone and reached a place with few people, Chen Yifan finally spoke. Ginger Meow Meow. Huh. Zhang Meow Meow pouted and looked around. Have you thought about punishment yet? Chen Yifan pulled her in front of him, and just looked at her straight. Zhang Meow Meow stared back, not to be outdone, bigger than her eyes, who is afraid of anyone. Looking at each other, Zhang Meow Meow winked, and Chen Yifan's mouth curled up slightly, and he couldn't help smiling. I've already thought about punishment, you will agree. No problem, I'm willing to bet, let's talk. Zhang Meow Meow said in a low tone. She was still not happy at all, she never thought that Xiao Chen would be so strong. Then let me tell you. Chen Yifan laughed. Speak. Zhang Meow Meow became a little impatient. This bad little Chen would order him around. My punishment is. Chen Yifan also became a little apprehensive. Zhang Meow Meow, be my girlfriend. The surroundings seemed to be quiet. Zhang Meow Meow was stunned, and looked at Chen Yifan with her small mouth slightly open, as if she didn't know him at all. After a while, Zhang Meow Meow finally spoke. Xiao Chen, what did you say? Can you say it again? Zhang Meow Meow said in disbelief mixed with excitement. Chen Yifan, who was waiting impatiently, also got excited at this time. I said. Zhang Meow Meow, be my girlfriend. Let's date. Ah. Before he finished speaking, he heard a scream, which startled the pedestrians around him. Chen Yifan's shoulders sank. Zhang Meow Meow jumped up and hugged Chen Yifan. Chen Yifan quickly hugged Zhang Meow Meow tightly to prevent her from falling down. Oh, Xiao Chen, it's been 3 years. 3 years, woo woo woo. Zhang Meow Meow's tone was very excited, sobbing and speaking inarticulately, holding Chen Yifan's head and burying it on his chest. Chen Yifan patted Zhang Meow Meow's back, but was also a little speechless. It's all my own fault, my own hesitation that made this Stephanie wait for me for so long. After a long time, Zhang Meow Meow stopped crying, and asked Chen Yifan shyly to put her down. Seeing Zhang Meow Meow with red and swollen eyes, Chen Yifan wiped the remaining tears from the corners of Zhang Meow Meow's eyes with distress. Why are you still crying? Stop crying, you haven't promised me yet. I agree. Why don't I agree? Let me tell you, since you have already asked, and I agree, it is a matter of my life, and you are not allowed to go back on your word, and you are not allowed to abandon me. Zhang Meow Meow looked up at Chen Yifan seriously, and then asked worriedly, Xiao Chen, am I ugly now? She was a little embarrassed. She cried like this when she just became Chen Yifan's girlfriend. It must be ugly, Xiao Chen might not like her anymore. Seeing the reaction of the beauty in front of him, Chen Yifan held Zhang Meow Meow's face and couldn't help but said with distress, it's not ugly at all. How could I go back on my word? Not only in this life, but in the next life. I want you in the next life. Quote. Hearing Chen Yifan's love words all of a sudden, even Zhang Meow Meow, who has always been carefree, couldn't help feeling shy, hugging Chen Yifan and resting her head on his shoulder. Xiao Chen. Huh, you are so kind. Yeah. The two young couples are dating for the first time. Zhang Meow Meow, who has always hinted that she must take down Chen Yifan, is just a girl. She doesn't know how many things to do in a relationship. The two just hugged in place foolishly. Passers-by looked at him like a monkey. On the other side, Chu Rui was still watching the duel of various great gods in the battle zone. Each one was either string shot attack or head attack. Trainer, Pokemon originally had few skills, and they were all low-level skills. It was difficult. What is there to watch? Where did that guy Chen Yifan take Zhang Meow Meow? Why hasn't he come back? These two guys, probably. Chu Rui touched the green turban on his head, with an evil smile on his face. No way, are all the young people these days so impulsive? Chu Rui. Just as he was thinking, he heard a familiar call. Chu Rui looked up. It was Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow. He was about to respond, but then Chu Rui realized something was wrong, and after a closer look, Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow, these two people were actually holding hands. Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow walked over. Zhang Meow Meow's face was completely filled with a happy smile at this time, and the two clasped their hands together tightly. Seeing Chu Rui's eyes, Chen Yifan shrugged. Yes, just like what you saw, Meow Meow and I are together. Oh, you guys, you've finally come to your senses. You have really suffered for our Miss Zhang all these years. Chu Rui smiled meaningfully. He knew a long time ago that the two men had a relationship. Concubine intends, we will be together sooner or later. I didn't know what Chen Yifan was holding back before. If he had a beautiful woman who liked him so much chasing him, then he would wake up laughing. Zhang Meow Meow didn't quarrel with Chu Rui anymore, just smiled and leaned on Chen Yifan. Suddenly there was a feeling of seeing the sun behind the clouds, losing the game, but gaining love. That's great. The Pokemon was also received, and the game was played, and the three of them had no reason to stay in the Pokemon Center. They accompanied Zhang Meow Meow to the service hall to recover Fennekin's contest condition. Only trainees can restore Pokemon for free, which is also it can be regarded as a kind of benefit for novices. When you reach the junior trainer, you will have to pay. How much it will cost depends on the extent of the Pokemon's injury, with a minimum of 100 Alliance coins. After leaving the Pokemon Center, because Chu Rui's house and Chen Yifan's house are in different directions, the two watched Chu Rui leave. Chen Yifan tightened his little hand, turned to Zhang Meow Meow and said, I'll take you back. Okay. Zhang Meow Meow smiled. Her family lives in the villa area of Rongcheng, not very far from the Pokemon Center. When she was in school, her father bought a house near the school for her to go to school because of the distance. The two stopped along the way, and they seemed to find everything they saw very interesting, and hugged each other again from time to time, enjoying the pleasure that only belongs to lovers. Soon, the two had already arrived outside Zhang Meow Meow's villa, looked at Zhang Meow Meow's big villa decorated with contest, and sometimes Chen Yifan had to admit that this huge gap was indescribable. He is still far from Zhang Meow Meow's family's conditions. But now he is more confident. With the help of the system, he will definitely become one of these people in a short time. Go in. Chen Yifan smiled after pinching Zhang Meow Meow's smooth face. Oh. Zhang Meow Meow reluctantly let go of her hand, and was about to enter the door when she suddenly turned around. He hugged Chen Yifan's neck. Soon, Zhang Meow Meow licked her lips. Well, not bad, Xiao Chen, I will accept your first kiss. After speaking, she raised her eyebrows at Chen Yifan taunt, and walked away. Chen Yifan, who just stayed where he was a little bit dumbfounded. He is. Have you been kissed? Chen Yifan, who experienced the forced kiss incident, took the bus for more than an hour to return home. Fortunately, there is a bus stop outside the villa area, otherwise he would have to walk a long way. I don't know what the people who set up the bus station in the villa area thought. Could it be that those rich people would take the bus? Holding the key and pushing the door in, my mother was still at work and the house was empty, so Chen Yifan simply let Bunnelby out and cultivated a relationship along the way. Seeing Bunnelby bouncing around the room, Chen Yifan suddenly remembered something, took out a bag of taupe-like cat food from the room, and handed it to Bunnelby. Dig. Bunnelby tore open the package curiously, reached out and took a bite, his eyes lit up immediately, and he couldn't wait to eat. Eat slowly, don't choke. Dig dig. This is Pokemon food, which is a relatively common type of food sold on the market. It costs 10 Alliance coins per bag. Pokemon with a small appetite like Bunnelby can eat a bag for a day. Of course, there are cheap ones, and naturally there are expensive ones. The price of higher-end Pokemon food ranges from 100 to 500. In addition to being more delicious, the nutrition provided is also of great benefit to Pokemon. On top of Pokemon food, there is another thing that helps Pokemon even more. That is the Power Cube. The invention of the Energy Cube is a great pioneering work in human society. The main material of the Energy Cube is tree fruit. Different types of Energy Cubes have different effects. Nutrition can also make the Big Eater Pokemon feel full, so that the trainer will not be poor by the Big Eater. There are also Energy Cubes specially designed to improve the strength of Pokemon. Regular consumption can improve the strength of Pokemon to a certain extent, but the higher the strength of the Pokemon, the smaller the effect of the Energy Cube. If the Pokemon reaches the elite level, the Energy Cube will be useless. What's the effect? It can only be eaten as food. The price of Energy Cubes is naturally high, and except for the satiety-type Energy Cubes, basically they will not be sold individually. At least 100 pieces must be bought at a time, and the lowest price is 1,000 yuan for one piece. After all, this is Pokemon food for the rich, and the common people have no money to afford it, so no one in normal will take in a Pokemon that eats a lot. In many cases, a Pokemon can eat him and make him bankrupt. When Liang Wenjing gave up her 2 Pokemon partners, she simply had no other way. She had to support herself and Chen Yifan, and 2 Pokemon. As a junior trainer, she really didn't have much energy left. Maybe everyone is going to be hungry. In Alliance, abusing Pokemon is against the law. The Alliance Pokemon Protection Law will not treat you kindly, ranging from detention to imprisonment, and even the death penalty in the worst case. Not feeding Pokemon is also a kind of abuse of Pokemon. Touching Bunnelby's head, today's battle was undoubtedly unexpected, but Chen Yifan was actually not very satisfied, because he failed to test what kind of strength his Bunnelby is now, and whether he can rank among the trainee trainers in Rongcheng. Fennekin probably didn't show his full strength, but his endurance was too low to withstand Bunnelby's beating before he fell down. The reason for the rush is that the Little Ho-Oh Cup is about to start in another week. The college entrance examination in this world is roughly divided into 2 stages of examinations. One is the literary examination, which accounts for 30% of the total score, and the other is the martial arts examination, which accounts for 70% of the total score. Literary examination, as the name suggests, is an examination of cultural courses, such as Alliance language, mathematics, comprehensive science, comprehensive literature, etc., as well as various theoretical knowledge of Pokemon. Chen Yifan's scores in the Wen test are very good, with a total score of 500, and his score is more than 460. If you do well in the Chinese language test, you basically don't have to worry about the university. Of course, if you only rely on the Chinese language test, no good school will recruit you. The most important thing is the martial arts test. The content of the martial arts test is naturally the most familiar Pokemon battle in the world. The 1-week buffer time is to give the majority of graduates who have newly obtained Pokemon a time to familiarize themselves with their own Pokemon. The martial arts test is very important for graduates who want to enter a good university. The martial arts test in Sichuan province is called the Little Ho-Oh Cup. The reason why it is called the Small Ho-Oh Cup is not only to symbolize that Rongcheng in Sichuan province is a hot and enthusiastic city, but also sits in the gymnasium of Sichuan province, which is also a fire-type gymnasium. Basically all senior high school graduates this year will participate. Although all participants are trainees, they have attracted attention from all walks of life. All major colleges and universities will send people to watch the competition to select suitable students. It doesn't matter if you don't get selected, as long as you can get within 100, no matter how good or bad the scores in the liberal arts test are. The famous schools are free to choose, and the top 10 are even more so. The top 10 colleges and universities will rush to ask for it. In addition to this, the Little Ho-Oh Cup will also have generous rewards to reward trainers who perform well in the competition. The rewards are different every year, but Chen Yifan remembers that last year's champions seemed to be rewarded with 500,000 alliance coins, which is undoubtedly a huge sum of money for Chen Yifan, but the important thing is not this, but other rewards. Except for money, the champion of the competition also got a rare Pokemon, which seems to be Houndour. That's right, winning the championship can not only hold 50W, big money, but also the Evil Plus Fire Houndour, which is a very powerful Houndoom after evolution. Although the trainee trainer can't subdue the second Pokemon, you can first deposit the Pokemon in the. It is very convenient for the Alliance competition party. Chen Yifan's goal all along is Imperial University, which ranks first among universities. Choosing a good university is very important for his next road. A good university not only means stronger teachers, but also more abundant resources. Sometimes getting a good result in a competition held by the school can enrich his career. The wallet, and the good university normal also has its own Pokemon library, cooperates with some well-known Pokemon breeders, and cultivates and hatches many Pokemon with good qualifications, including rare Pokemon. In Chen Yifan's view, Imperial University is undoubtedly the no one among universities. As the evening approached, Liang Wenjing opened the door and came in, just in time to see Bunnelby looking up at her. Bunnelby, son, this is your Pokemon, good luck. Chen Yifan, who was cooking in the kitchen, stuck his head out. Mom, I'm back. This is my new partner, Bunnelby. Bunnelby, this is my mom. Dugo. Bunnelby stretched out his ear and shook Liang Wenjing as a greeting. Kneeling down and touching Bunnelby's big ears, Liang Wenjing quietly looked at Bunnelby, who was looking at her curiously. Liang Wenjing smiled. She seemed to think of her two partners back then. There was reminiscence in her eyes, and the happy times in the past all appeared in front of her eyes. It's better to have Pokemon. Liang Wenjing stood up, patted the wrinkled long skirt, went into the kitchen, and drove Chen Yifan out. What are you fussing about? Go out and accompany your Pokemon, let me do it. Avertisement. At the dinner table, the mother and son were eating, and Bunnelby under the table was also gnawing on the fresh carrot Liang Wenjing handed to it. Although it is Pokemon, it is also a rabbit, and it is inevitable to like carrots. Son, what are your plans? Mom, I'm going to the Little Ho-Oh Cup. Liang Wenjing stopped her chopsticks and looked at Chen Yifan in surprise. With your grades in culture, it should be no problem to find a good university. I still want to try it. Chen Yifan said seriously. Liang Wenjing fell silent. Her family knew about her own affairs. The Little Ho-Oh Cup, how could they, the common people, stand out from the crowd? Relying on the Pokemon issued by the Alliance, they competed with those rich kids, not to mention whether they could win or not. This is unfair to the common people. Rich people have better resources, better Pokemon, and better promotion paths. But in this world, there is no absolute fairness. Go as soon as you want to go, and see more of the world. Liang Wenjing is not an unreasonable parent. She also knows that it is a good thing that her son wants to participate in the Little Ho-Oh Cup, but she is afraid that her son will not be able to withstand the blow, because there have been many trainers who have been depressed after one defeat over the years. Chen Yifan nodded. Everything he said now is bragging, and everything depends on getting the grades. As if he suddenly thought of something, Chen Yifan continued, Mom. What's the matter? I'm in a relationship, Chen Yifan said with a rare blush. Puff. Liang Wenjing almost didn't spit up the food in her mouth. She looked at her shy son amusedly, thought for a while and suddenly realized, oh, my son has grown up, isn't that girl Meow Meow? How did you know? Chen Yifan looked surprised. He seemed, as if, he hadn't told his mother about Zhang Meow Meow. Then don't worry about it. Liang Wenjing smiled mysteriously. What Chen Yifan didn't know was that as early as in high school, Zhang Meow Meow had secretly followed Chen Yifan's ass to her house, and she had bumped into her. If this happened to girls, then she's probably going to call the police, but if it's a boy. That's great. Later, They bumped into each other more times, and the two became acquainted, and Liang Wenjing was also very happy when she heard this beautiful girl yelling, and, one after another, and it was not clear that it was interesting to her son. However, Zhang Meow Meow's family background seems to be quite good, and he doesn't know if his son is worthy of others. Liang Wenjing looked at Chen Yifan again. The son she gave birth to must be worthy of it. Don't you all pay attention to free love now? What do you say to my old lady, and when you are free, call her home to have a look? Yeah, Chen Yifan nodded. Will he meet his parents? Definitely, but not now, at least wait until he has certain grades, otherwise let alone Zhang Meow Meow's family members, even he himself will look down on him. After dinner, Chen Yifan and Bunnelby lay on the bed and chatted with Zhang Meow Meow with Pokemon Pokédex. Zhang Meow Meow complained to him about his father's evil behavior. Now she is locked up by her father. Not only does she not let her sleep in anymore, but she will continue to use Pokemon to fight against Absorb with her Fennekin every day. She also said that it is for her own good. If she does not train, she will use the current contest condition. Participating in the small Ho-Oh Cup will also be quickly brushed off. Of course, Chen Yifan didn't dare to say much about the old man but the old man said something very well. With Zhang Meow Meow's current situation, it is really not easy to get good grades. Although Fennekin is talented, his current combat effectiveness is not enough, not very strong. After comforting Zhang Meow Meow, Chen Yifan also began to think about his next training plan. It is definitely impossible to train at home. His house is not as big as Zhang Meow Meow's house, and it is not as strong. If Bunnelby tramples through the floor, the neighbors downstairs will not kill him. The field is also strenuous enough. His home is in the urban area, and he has to drive a few hours away from the field. It is estimated that he will have to come back after training, and it will be troublesome. But apart from these two options, there is a good place to go. That's the Pokemon Training Center. Alliance is specially set up for trainers who are not wealthy. One of the advantages of the training center is that the venue is large enough, and there is automatic renovation. As long as the surrounding facilities are not intentionally damaged, there is no need to pay. Another thing is that there is a Pokemon restoration device directly under the Pokemon Center. The advantage of being a trainee trainer is that you don't need to pay for restoring Pokemon. As long as Bunnelby's contest condition is not good, you can go to Miss Nurse to restore it. It's just a bug. There is wood. In addition to these, the training center can also find coaches who specialize in sparring, fighting, and coaching. Of course, Chen Yifan can't afford to hire a coach, but he can find a free partner. Thinking about doing it, Chen Yifan called Chu Rui with Pokemon Pokédex, and the two immediately decided to gather at the training center tomorrow. Although he really wanted to take Zhang Meow Meow with him, she had already been locked up by her father, and she couldn't get out for the time being. Early the next morning, Chen Yifan took Bunnelby's Pokeball and headed out early. Yifan, I got on the bus to the training center, and after getting off the bus, I heard Chu Rui's voice. This guy seems to be one step ahead of him no matter what he does. Today, Chu Rui didn't put on his signature turban, walked up to Chen Yifan and said curiously, "Hey, where is Zhang Meow Meow? No way, you've only been together for a day, you won't dump him, right?" Chen Yifan punched him, and laughed and cursed. Fart, she was trained by Zhang uncle alone, and she won't be able to come out these days. Oh, that's how it is. Chu Rui nodded. Zhang Meow Meow's father is not normal. It is said that he is a powerful elite trainer, but Zhang Meow Meow has never admitted it, and I don't know if it is. But it's definitely not normal. The two walked to the training center side by side. The training center occupies a large area, like a museum. If you want to enter the training center, you have to pay, but the fee is not high. The most important thing is to avoid wasting resources. Two trainee trainers use one venue. A total of 100 Alliance coins. Although he doesn't have much money in his pocket, he has been saving the New Year's money given by his mother for so many years. He has spent a lot of money, and he still has thousands of dollars on his body. His family has no relatives, his grandparents left early, his mother is an only child, and his father's relatives have long since lost contact with each other. The mother and son have been dependent on each other since childhood. Holding the access card, the two followed the road signs into the training center and arrived at the training ground. A barren field, without any weeds. The only advantage is that it is big enough. Big enough and spacious enough for Bunnelby to roll around in it without touching the side. After swiping the access control card, the two entered the field. In the big city of Rongcheng, it is too difficult to find a suitable training field without spending money. Start. Chen Yifan took out the Pokeball and asked. Come on, Chu Rui said bravely, thinking of the Bunnelby that knocked Fennekin into the air yesterday. He was a little hairy, and he didn't know if his seal could carry it. You make Bunnelby lighter. My seal doesn't have much combat experience, so I don't need to fight. Don't worry, Chen Yifan showed a smirk. With Ms. Nurse from the Pokemon Center here, even if you are injured, it will be cured soon. On Training Ground 18 of the Pokemon Training Center. Bunnelby, quick attack, dig, boom. With a loud bang, Seal fell heavily to the ground, and his ass fell firmly to the sky. Then Seal fell to the ground, his eyes rolled in circles. The brave Seal fell again, incapacitated to fight. Not far away, Chu Rui saw Seal's miserable condition, and covered his forehead speechlessly. This was the 8th time that Seal had lost the ability to fight. Every time he had just finished looking for Miss Nurse in the service area, and then Seal continued to be beaten to the ground. After going back and forth, Miss Nurse there knew him, and every time she brought Seal, she would look at him with a playful look. I said, Yifan, why don't you find someone else? Chu Rui smiled wryly. It wasn't that he didn't want Seal to fight, it's because Chen Yifan's Bunnelby is too strong. His seal is not rival at all. He didn't want to participate in the beating match at all, except to let Seal's skin change a little thicker. It is estimated that there is no benefit. Come on, let's just take a break when we're tired. For half a day, where can I find rival? You don't know. My family has only a small amount of money, but I can't find a training partner. Chen Yifan smiled, took Bunnelby back to let him rest first, and accompanied Chu Rui to sit on a bench beside him. Chu Rui hugged Seal, who had woken up, and said a little depressed, why is your Bunnelby so powerful? Didn't everyone get the Pokemon together? How do I know? Maybe Alliance thought I was pitiful, and deliberately found a powerful Bunnelby for me. Chen Yifan laughed. Just keep it in your heart. You. Chu Rui rolled his eyes, but he didn't delve into it any further. As long as he's good, he can only be happy as a friend. And he also felt the power of Chen Yifan. In this short period of time, not only did he get to know Bunnelby so well, but Bunnelby has also been visibly improved in all aspects under his coaching. Let's just talk about Quick Attack. The Quick Attack cast by Bunnelby today seems to be much faster than the one he played against Fennekin yesterday. The two sat on the bench and chatted for a while. Chen Yifan suddenly looked at Chu Rui in surprise. You won't participate in the Little Ho-Oh Cup? Yeah, Chu Rui nodded, then sighed, and touched Seal in his arms. Yifan, to be honest, I admire you for daring to participate in that kind of competition. I can't do it, I know. Quote. Chu Rui looked at Chen Yifan. The gap between me and them is too great. Chu Rui looked depressed. Although the martial arts test said that all graduates participated, most of those who dared to participate in the Little Ho-Oh Cup were not normal in strength. He was far behind even Chen Yifan, let alone those who people compare. A trainer who was born with all kinds of resources to cultivate Pokemon, compared with a grassroots trainer like them who have to save money to buy a bag of high-end Pokemon food, the gap is like a catastrophe. Chen Yifan is silent. There is nothing to say about this. It can only be said that the beholder sees the benevolent and the wise see the wisdom. He dares to have this confidence. One is because of Bunnelby's current strength, and the other is the system. Even if there is no system, he still dares to participate in the competition. How can you see a rainbow without going through wind and rain? Didn't the senior civilian trainers who broke through the siege one by one come here in this way? Proud achievement. When you come to yourself, you have a system. If he doesn't make some achievements, he will be ashamed to face others. I've decided, I'm going to apply for the Pokemon Breeder Academy in Sichuan Province. Chu Rui said suddenly, making Chen Yifan on the side stunned for a moment. Decided, yes. Seeing Chu Rui's firm eyes, Chen Yifan was happy for his friend from the bottom of his heart, patted Chu Rui on the shoulder, and said with a smile, since you want to go, let's go. Maybe, I will call you Master Chu Rui in the future, remember to come and help me. Chu Rui smiled, and also patted Chen Yifan. No problem, I will lend you a good word, Master Yifan. Wrong, call me Master Elite. Screw you. Amidst the squabbling, Chen Yifan and Chu Rui left the training ground to recover Seal's injury first. Pokemon breeders can be regarded as a branch of Pokemon trainer. This industry can be regarded as promising, and it also gives many people who do not have much trainer talent some other outlets. Breeders are divided into elementary, middle, and high levels, and the highest level is master. Breeders are good at breeder Pokemon, adjusting recipes, bodies and other aspects for Pokemon, as well as making Pokemon food. Most of the Pokemon food on the market are masterpieces of well-known breeders. At the same time, the fee for a breeder to regulate the body of his Pokemon is also very considerable. As long as he passes the primary examination and becomes a primary breeder, it means he has the ability to make money. At the level of intermediate breeders, you can choose to open a shop or find a well-known trainer to cooperate with and provide them with exclusive services. Advanced breeders are even more scarce, and their status is higher than many advanced trainers and even some elite trainers. Master breeders are really rare, and their status is equivalent to that of master trainers. They are a typical example of being sought after and worshipped in society. However, even in China Alliance, there are not many master breeders. Compared with master trainers, it can be said that there are very few. In addition to Pokemon breeders, there are also Pokemon researchers, Pokemon incubators and other professions. They may be far inferior to ordinary trainers in combat, but it is precisely because of their existence that today's colorful world has been created. When Chen Yifan and Chu Rui came to the service station, Ms. Nurse smiled when she saw Chu Rui. "Hey, brother is here again." Chu Rui smiled wryly, and handed Seal's Pokeball to Miss Nurse. "I'm sorry to trouble you." Miss Nurse took the Pokeball, looked at Chen Yifan from the corner of her eye. Her eyes lit up. "Oh, is this your friend who beats Seal to the ground all the time?" "Hello, handsome guy." Chen Yifan didn't speak, nodded and smiled, and at the same time handed Bunnelby's Pokeball to her. Although it didn't consume much, it was good to recuperate. He is not a talkative person, so he can chat with friends more. Seeing Chen Yifan's smile, Ms. Nurse showed a strange look. So handsome. Compared with the tall guy next to her, this is her ideal type. Putting 2 Pokemon Pokeballs into the recovery device, Ms. Nurse supported her body with her hands, straightened her clothes, leaned forward slightly, and half exposed some unsuitable things for children. At the same time, she gave a dry cough to attract the attention of the two. Seeing Chen Yifan looking over, he immediately winked at Chen Yifan. "Handsome guy, do you have an appointment tonight? Have a drink together?" The corners of Chen Yifan's mouth twitched, and Chu Rui also had a weird expression. He came here so many times just now, and this fool never said that. Could it be that handsome guys are treated differently? There is still the law of heaven, is there still the law of the king? For Ms. Nurse's invitation, Chen Yifan naturally declined. Although he is not a gentleman, he has Zhong Meow Meow. Besides, this Ms. Nurse looks. It can only be said that it is not in his aesthetic view. After the two took the Pokeball and went out, Ms. Nurse stomped on the stomping tantrum angrily. "This kid is really unattractive. He is so handsome that he is blind for nothing. He doesn't even eat the free dinner. Why don't we look around? Maybe we can find a good rival, and fight with me again. It probably won't improve you," Chu Rui suggested. Chen Yifan nodded. He was right, it is not reasonable to blindly beat Seal, so it is better to let Bunnelby train by himself. What he wants now is that Bunnelby can gain a lot of absorbed combat experience, and the rewards that the system will draw next will definitely be of great help to Bunnelby so that he can master it faster. Getting a good ranking in the competition is very important to him, and there is no room for sloppiness. Although he has a system, he doesn't want to be a waste who can only lie down and win. The common training ground in the training center is open to the outside world, the kind where others can see the battle when passing by. Apart from this, there is also a VIP training ground, which not only guarantees absolute privacy, but even has a private butler. You can eat and live in the training center. Of course, if you want to enjoy this kind of service, you can't afford it without money. The two of them took a walk along the way. There were still quite a few people in the training center today, but most of them were just like them, trainees who had just gotten Pokemon, and took advantage of this week's time to participate in the Little Ho-Oh Cup. Buffer time, you can practice as much as you can. At this moment, Chu Rui stopped suddenly, looked at the training field next to him, and frowned. What's the matter? Chen Yifan asked in confusion, followed Chu Rui's gaze, and then narrowed his eyes. At the same time, the two people on the training ground seemed to have just arrived at the training ground, and they didn't even release the Pokemon. Seeing Chu Rui and Chen Yifan outside the training ground, one of the younger-looking men sneered, and said in a strange way, "Oh, isn't this me, young Master Chen and young Master Chu? Why, the two young masters are free to come to the training center. Can your Pokemon fight? Don't even scratch the dust off this training ground. Li Fei, you want to be beaten up again, right?" Chu Rui rolled up his sleeves, as if ready to fight. The man named Li Fei in front of him is Chen Yifan and Chu Rui's high school classmates for 3 years, but although they are classmates, their relationship is not very good, even bad. Li Fei always wanted to pursue Zhang Meow Meow when he was a sophomore in high school, but Zhang Meow Meow, who had just been rejected by Chen Yifan again and was in a bad mood, kicked him hard, but under the appearance of Zhang Meow Meow's father, it was all over in the end. However, the enmity between the few people has since taken over. Although it has nothing to do with Chen Yifan and Chu Rui, who makes Zhang Meow Meow play the best in the class, not even the girls in the class. These two have a good relationship with Zhang Meow Meow. He couldn't afford to mess with Zhang Meow Meow, and it was always okay to mess with these two poor guys, and Chen Yifan was a little too dazzling in class, which made him very uncomfortable. In the past, whenever something happened, Li Fei would taunt Chen Yifan and Chu Rui eccentrically, and often use their families as an example, so after being taught a few times by Chu Rui, he restrained himself a lot, but after graduation, Li Fei was not afraid of. Xiao Fei, who are they? The slightly longer man beside Li Fei asked in confusion. He is Li Fei's cousin Li Shu, a sophomore at Sichuan University, and also a junior trainer. Cousin, don't worry about them, they are just two poor ghosts, one is a big fool, and the other is a piece of trash who has a mother but no father. Li Fei waved his hand and looked at Chen Yifan and Chu Rui contemptuously. Now, he was still a little afraid of this big, stupid guy surnamed Chu. After all, he was tall and strong, and his small body of 1.6 meters couldn't stand it. But after leaving school, it's different. What do these two poor ghosts compare themselves to? Pokemon. Just kidding, can the free Pokemon issued by Alliance compare with the Pokemon his father spent 200,000 to buy? What's more, there is my cousin here, he is a junior trainer. Chu Rui was a little angry, and was about to take a step forward when Chen Yifan stretched out his hand to stop him. Chen Yifan's face was unprecedentedly cold, and he looked at Li Fei coldly, with an extremely terrifying aura, which made Li Fei subconsciously take a step back, then realized something was wrong, and said with a stiff neck, "What? Am I wrong?" Li Shu on the side frowned. He also felt that Li Fei's words were a bit harsh, but he was his cousin after all, and he understood the reason why he should help relatives and not help outsiders. Don't get excited, this student. I think it's better for everyone to take a step back. What Li Fei said just now was really serious. Just pretend that you didn't hear it. Go away. I guarantee that Li Fei won't come to trouble you either. Quote. Li Shu took a step forward and acted as a peacemaker, persuading Chen Yifan and Chu Rui with what he thought was the best of both worlds. Trainer. That last sentence bites hard. Chen Yifan sneered. Junior trainer, really amazing. Chu Rui also glanced sideways at Li Shu. Yo, you're so awesome, you're still a junior trainer. At the same time, he also emphasized the 5 words junior trainer. Of course, the junior trainer is awesome. You two poor ghosts, you will never pass the junior trainer assessment in your life. Cousin, what are you doing with them? Come on, let's practice ours. Oh cup. Li Fei gave Li Shu a hand and didn't want to talk to them anymore. Yifan. Before everyone could react, Chen Yifan walked through the fence blocking the training ground and walked into the training ground, holding the Pokeball between the red Baixiang tightly in his hand. Chen Yifan looked at Li Fei. His eyes were cold, and he said coldly, I don't want to talk too much nonsense with you. Come on, use the trainer's way to solve it. If you lose, kneel down and kowtow 3 times to the winner. Quote. Do you dare? Chen Yifan's method was a bit unexpected for Li Fei and Li Fei, but it also made Li Fei blush. When will it be his turn to be taunted by this poor ghost, but with those useless Pokemon issued by the Alliance, dare to yell at yourself. That violent girl Zhang Meow Meow is really blind. If she likes this kind of guy with oily hair and noodles, if it wasn't for this guy, maybe he would have embraced the beauty back then. Under the new and old hatred, Li Fei sneered, and took out a great ball worth 1W alliance coins from his bosom. I didn't force you, I will fulfill you today, give me a few good kowtows before walk. At this time, Chu Rui also climbed over the fence and entered the training ground. Although he was a little worried about Chen Yifan, he still did not object. One is that he is very confident in Chen Yifan's strength, and the other is that if the conditions are sufficient, he also wants to survive. Teach that fool a lesson. Li Shu on the side didn't say anything, just looked Chen Yifan up and down for a while, and then retreated to the side, leaving the battlefield to the two of them. Like Chu Rui, he also has a lot of confidence in Li Fei. He just heard Li Fei say about their identities and backgrounds. The free Pokemon distributed by Alliance are mostly those weak bug-type Pokemon. How to fight them? Li Fei's Pokemon is worth 20W Alliance coins. Chen Yifan, I really hope to see you kneeling begging for mercy. Then I will record you and send it to Zhang Meow Meow. A trace of cruelty flashed in Li Fei's eyes. He licked his lips and said with a smile, that picture must be beautiful. Chen Yifan smiled, and slapped his nose with his hands. Your farts are too smelly, can you stop farting, it smells so bad. Snort. The two looked at each other and pressed the Pokeball in their hands at the same time. Two red lights flashed. A gray rabbit and a gray kitten appear on the field at the same time. Dig dig. Meow. Li Fei stared. Bunnelby. Luck is good, but if it's Diggersby after evolution, you're not far behind, Bunnelby. Li Shu outside the court saw Chen Yifan's Bunnelby for the first time, and for some reason, he was a little uneasy. It was an illusion, it must be an illusion, but it was just a Bunnelby of species strength 237. In the early stage of trainer, it was a fatal weakness. Cousin's Pokemon, it is absolutely impossible to lose to it. Meowth. Chen Yifan is looking at the other Pokemon, a gray Meowth with a shiny thing like a gold coin on his forehead, which is different from common White's Meowth, which is a variant of Meowth with evil attributes. Just like his master, a Pokemon that looks very sinister. Pokemon. Meowth variant. Attribute. Evil. Ability. Technical expert able to improve the skills whose power is lower than or equal to 60. The degree of improvement depends on the strength of the Pokemon. The stronger the strength, the greater the improvement. Species strength. 290. Qualification excellent. Strength trainee level. Skills. Growl, catch. Note. Meowth likes spherical objects. They can play with the ball and forget the time until they fall asleep. Meowth also likes shiny things, especially gold coins. In order to collect shiny things, Meowth often fights with Murkrow. They are nocturnal Pokemon, and they will always rest during the day. After the mutant Meowth has the evil attribute, it is characterized by an arrogant, clever and cunning character. Especially hating dirty gold coins and hurting self-esteem, will become more hysterical. Meowth, teach this rabbit a lesson, let it and its owner know what it means to be strong. Li Fei yelled hysterically, how could a poor family dare to fight with him? For this Meowth, he worked so hard and begged his father for a long time to get it. The reason why it can be sold so expensive is all because of Meowth's ability, a master of technology. In the initial battle, this can be called a divine-grade ability to control the enemy with one move. Most of the Pokemon in the apprenticeship stage do not have enough physical strength to support long-term battles, let alone the ability to withstand damage. Meowth, combined with his own skills and supplemented by technical experts, in Li Fei's opinion, can completely kill the quartet in the small Ho-Oh Cup. Not many Pokemon can resist Meowth's attack. Meowth. Meowth licked his paw, responding to his trainer, showing a sly smile, and looked at Bunnelby harmlessly. Meow. Growl let out a weak voice, trying to distract Bunnelby. But at this time, Bunnelby had a serious face and completely ignored Meowth's growl. It felt the rage of its trainer. As a partner, it wanted to respond to its trainer, and letting rival fall was its best response. Is it not affected? Don't worry, Meowth, let's go. Li Fei squinted his eyes and swung his right hand violently. Use grab attack. Meowth flashed his shiny claws and ran towards Bunnelby. The white light shone on the claws, which looked extremely sharp. When Meowth was about to approach Bunnelby, Chen Yifan said coldly, Bunnelby, grab it. Dig dig. Under Meowth's unbelievable eyes, Bunnelby stretched out its big and long ears, and grabbed Meowth. Meowth felt a strong force coming from him. Before he could swing his claws, his whole body reached Bunnelby's side. Full strength, tackle, boom. Bunnelby held Meowth in one ear with joy, and under Chen Yifan's order, with the other ear, he slapped Meowth on the face with a big ear and put Meowth down at the same time. Meow. During Meowth's miserable growl, Meowth's entire cheek swelled at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his whole body was shot flying out by the big ears, landing in front of Li Fei, only a few centimeters away. To hit Li Fei. This series of actions only took place within a few seconds, and before Li Fei had time to react, he saw a gray shadow coming backwards. Seeing Meowth, who had fainted on the ground in front of him, Li Fei's pupils shrank sharply, and he pointed at Chen Yifan opposite him, trembling uncontrollably. You. He couldn't believe that this poor Bunnelby not only blocked Meowth's attack, but also knocked his own Meowth down with a single slap. Li Shu and Chu Rui outside the field also stared wide-eyed. Although Chu Rui had expected the result, he couldn't help being shocked by Bunnelby's strength. Sure enough, Yifan is still very good, just like Zhong Meow Meow, like my own Pokemon, it's all one move, it's so unreasonable. But Li Shu was different. He was surprised that it was only a Bunnelby who could defeat Li Fei's Meowth with one move. What is the origin of this kid? Is he really a child of a poor family as Li Fei said, or another identity? Looking at Li Fei, who gritted his teeth with strong unwillingness in his eyes, Chen Yifan raised his mouth slightly and pointed to the ground on the training ground. Come on, I don't want to talk nonsense with people like you, hurry up and kneel down. I'm going to leave now, I feel sick even if I stay here for a minute. Li Fei blushed, but he couldn't bear it. He wanted to renege on his debt, so he turned his eyes to his cousin Li Shu outside the court for help. Hey, young Master Li, you don't want to renege on your debt, ouch, I recorded the audio just now. If young Master Li reneges on your debt, I will send it to our class. Chu Rui said with a sunny smile, and by the way raised the Pokemon Pokédex in his hand. He did record the conversation between the two of them just now. Once in the limelight, spread the news about him being killed by Yifan. Isn't he a self-proclaimed elite? Let's see how this guy ends up. Chapter 14. Li Fei whispered, he believed that this guy Chu Rui could definitely do the recording. At this moment, he was a little bit stuck. Kneeling down to Chen Yifan was something he absolutely didn't want to do, but if the news of his repudiation and being defeated by Chen Yifan spread to other people's ears, his reputation would definitely be affected. Apart from Zhong Meow Meow, he was well known outside the class, and he didn't want to lose these. Just as Li Fei was struggling, Li Shu from the outside stood up. I said two brothers, I admit that Xiao Fei lost to you, but if he loses, he will ask others to kneel down. Will the bet be a bit heavier, or change something else? I will take 500 alliance coins here. It can be regarded as an apology to the two brothers, and it is also used as the appearance fee of this Chen. Little brother Chen, so the head office will be fine. Li Shu said righteously, and at the same time, he took out 5 shining 100 face alliance coins from his pocket, and wanted to walk on the stage and hand them to Chen Yifan. Li Fei heaved a sigh of relief, and looked at his cousin gratefully. Cousin still has a way, as expected of a junior trainer. Brother, who calls you brothers and sisters? I don't want a penny from you. In a word, kneel or not. Chen Yifan said firmly, shaking off Li Shu's hand, while looking at Li Fei in a taunt style. When Li Fei scolded him just now, he had already angered him, but no matter how angry he was not a reckless man. Before making a bet with Li Fei, he was already ready to fight two together. If one doesn't work, then hit two, I'll beat the head office together. He has absolute confidence in himself and Bunnelby's strength. Chu Rui also came behind Chen Yifan, and said in harmony, that is, whoever wants your stinky money, Li Fei, kneel down to me. Chen Yifan, don't give a toast and don't eat fine wine, I'll give you 500 yuan, that's enough for you. When Li Fei's shrill voice came, Li Shu's expression was also a little ugly, and he smiled angrily. Why, it means, you still want to have a fight with me, right? Chen Yifan narrowed his eyes and said without the slightest hesitation, that's exactly what I mean. Yifan, don't be impulsive. Chu Rui was startled, and hurriedly grabbed Chen Yifan's arm. This is not a joke. No matter how stupid Li Fei's cousin is, he is still a junior trainer. Only one day, how to compare with a junior trainer. Those who can pass the primary trainer assessment, the Pokemon's strength must have surpassed the trainee level and reached a higher level. Common level. Don't look at this. Common level sounds not very nice, but for trainee trainers like them, it is definitely not common. No matter how much he believed in Chen Yifan, he couldn't believe that Chen Yifan could fight a junior trainer. Don't worry, trust me. Chen Yifan pulled Chu Rui's hand from his tight grip and gave him a reassuring look. But how could Chu Rui feel at ease? He smiled wryly and stopped talking, and persuaded him, if he loses, it's a big deal, he just stays with him. Brothers still have this awareness. Ha ha ha, Chen Yifan, do you know what you are talking about? Ha ha ha, you dare to fight with my cousin. Li Fei covered his stomach and laughed a few times. Li Shu's expression on the side it also gradually became livid. A trainee trainer dared to challenge him, a junior trainer. If word of this got out, where would his face be? Boy, you will pay for your arrogance. Since you dare to challenge me, let your Pokemon go out on your stomach today. Li Shu said viciously. His eyes signaled that he wanted Li Fei to get out of the way, but unexpectedly Chen Yifan raised his hand. Slow down. The expressions of the two froze, only to hear Chen Yifan continue. Don't worry, Li Fei's bet hasn't been paid yet. If I don't pay it, how can I fight you? If you two brothers are going to renege on your debts, then I will find you at that time. Who will make sense? Okay, kid, that's what you said. Li Shu cast a gloomy look at Chen Yifan, then turned to Li Fei and said in a deep voice, Xiao Fei, kneel down. Li Fei opened his eyes wide, quickly waved his hands and said eagerly, Brother. You are my dear brother. I won't kneel, I won't kneel. Kneel down. Haven't you heard the principle of willing to bet and admit defeat? It's not shameful to admit defeat. The shameful thing is that you don't know it when you lose. Li Shu said in a stern voice. This sentence made Chen Yifan give Li Shu a high look. Li Fei looked at Li Shu with great reluctance, but he always looked up to his cousin, and he couldn't do anything against him. He closed his eyes, gritted his teeth, knelt down on the ground unwillingly, and gave Chen Yifan and Li Shu the opposite. Chu Rui kowtowed 3 times. Standing up with tears in the corners of his eyes, Li Fei looked at the two people opposite him viciously. I knelt down, I am satisfied now. Chu Rui pouted. It's okay, it's not loud enough. Okay. Li Shu reprimanded, and the court fell silent. Xiao Fei knelt down too. Can we start? Li Shu said with a grim expression. Chen Yifan raised his eyebrows and said with a smile, Yes, is there a bet? Of course. Li Shu grinned and said, It's fine to kneel down. I don't like this kind of petty stuff. Whoever loses will release his Pokemon and go to the Alliance Notary office in the training center to testify. There you always believe it. No one dares to renege on a debt, so how about it, do you dare to bet? Release. Chu Rui's pupils shrank, and he grabbed Chen Yifan. Yifan, don't bet with him, is this guy a pervert, and dare to raise such a bet? Li Shu smiled. What? Don't even dare to do this. That's right, what about the vigor just now? Li Fei continued, as expected of his cousin, he can think of such a bad move, it really suits his liking. Chen Yifan looked at Li Shu, and was a little bit surprised by this guy's bet, release. This is the most special function of Pokeball, only Pokédex holders of Pokemon bound to Pokeball can use it. If the Pokemon is released, then it will not only lose the Pokeball worth 1000 Alliance coins, but the released Pokemon will no longer be subdued by the trainer, and will even feel hostile to the trainer who released him. The direct loss of a Pokemon is a fatal blow to a trainee like Chen Yifan, especially a trainer from a poor family. Moreover, going to the Alliance Notary office for notarization and signing a good bet is recognized by the Alliance and the law. This is also the best way for trainer to resolve grievances. Sure enough, they are connected. Chen Yifan clenched his fists tightly, hesitating in his heart, whether he should make such a bet, whether this bet is worth it to him. Although there is a system, he is now penniless. Once he loses Bunnelby, it is impossible to get another Pokemon in a short time. An Earl Dervish Pokemon is very important to him now. Oh, don't you dare to bet anymore. Chen Yifan, dare you bet? If you don't dare to fight with my brother, it's okay. Come on, I don't ask you to kneel down, just get under my crotch. Li Fei yelled, spreading his crotch wide. Li Fei, you're looking for a fight, right? Yifan. Chu Rui's face turned cold, and at the same time he looked at Chen Yifan worriedly. Don't be impulsive, at worst he punches one by one and runs away together when Li Shu can't release the Pokemon. By the way, this rival is a junior trainer after all. Dig. Just when Chen Yifan was hesitating, Bunnelby below him suddenly pulled his trousers. Chen Yifan looked down, Bunnelby nodded at him with firm eyes, and patted his two big ears. Dig. Bunnelby. Chen Yifan was taken aback. Yes, even Bunnelby dared to fight and believed in him, so why would he back down? If he didn't dare to fight now, what would he do when he faced stronger enemies in the future? With the system and Bunnelby, I am no longer the Chen Yifan I used to be. Now he will become even stronger. What a Li Shu is. He wants to hit 10. Gently touching Bunnelby's big ears, Chen Yifan looked at the Li family brothers and said coldly, okay, I'll bet you. Yifan. Chu Rui's heart beat faster. The words he wanted to persuade his friend came to his lips but he couldn't say them. Looking at Chen Yifan's serious face, it was his decision, the result of his serious thinking, and the price was borne by him alone, so why would he have any reason to dissuade him? Excellent. Li Shu smiled triumphantly, and informed Li Fei beside him. Li Fei hurriedly pressed the help button on the training ground and invited staff to sign a contract for the two of them. The contract fee was 100 Alliance coins, and Li Shu proudly paid it himself. When the Alliance staff came with the contract, they asked in a somewhat uncertain tone, you two, do you really want to write this in your contract? Even in his opinion, the bets between these two people are really big. Most of the bets he has seen in the past are mostly money bets. Good guy, these two started betting directly on the release of Pokemon. Play so big. Chen Yifan and Li Shu looked at each other and nodded. Just write it like this. The staff had no choice but to write a contract for the two of them. Then please sign your names here and press your fingerprints. Once you sign the contract, you must not go back on your word. Otherwise, it will affect your whole life. Both are young and promising trainers. Wu Liang, I believe he will not make a move to go back on his word. Li Shu agreed, signed his name happily, and pressed his fingerprint. When it was Chen Yifan's turn, Chen Yifan took a deep breath, looked at the two Li family brothers who were sneering beside him, signed his name, and pressed his fingerprint. The staff put away the contract, and then said, the contract is signed. Next, I will be the notary and record and video the whole process to ensure the fairness of the competition. Please start preparing. Li Shu straightened his clothes, walked to the opposite side of Chen Yifan, and laughed a few times. Boy, the signing of the contract is completed. Even if you kneel down and beg for mercy, it's useless now. Honestly, give me your dog. Let the dead rabbit live. Chen Yifan didn't answer, and rubbed Bunnelby's head again. His eyes gradually became firm. Since you want to fight, you have to win, and you should win as fast as you can. He wants to see how capable this junior trainer is. Please leave the battlefield with two irrelevant personnel. The battle is about to begin. After the staff spoke, Chu Rui and Li Fei went outside the training ground at the same time. Chen Yifan dug his own grave. I'd like to see what it would be like to release Pokemon later. Li Fei smiled. Chu Rui looked down at him, then suddenly clenched his fist and hit Li Fei on the head, making him scream in pain, and fell to the ground all at once. I've wanted to beat you up for a long time, and you're still here to speak harshly to me, right? Come on. Keep calling me a try. The veins on Chu Rui's face tensed up. He had long been displeased with these two fools. If Chen Yifan hadn't stopped him, he would have to stage a real-life fighting for them. He can't fight Pokemon, but real people fight. Okay, you. Li Fei lay down on the ground in horror and looked at Chu Rui. The big bag on his head warned him that he could no longer play against Chu Rui. At the same time, he looked at his cousin on the field asking for help. Li Shu also saw what happened off the field, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Even with Chu Rui's big stature, he didn't dare to mess with Taunt. Li Fei is really brave. He really thought you were me, so he didn't dare to beat you all. But the top priority is to deal with the kid in front of him. Li Shu set his sights on Chen Yifan and Bunnelby on the opposite side. He is a junior trainer and has 2 Pokemon, but he has only been promoted to a junior trainer not long ago, and the strength of the other Pokemon is not yet at the level of a junior trainer. I want to be safe to win. It is natural to use your own Earl Dervish Pokemon. Boy, don't blame me for bullying the small, you asked for it. Li Shu smiled, and took out a common Pokeball from his pocket. His family is not as rich as Li Fei's, so he is not willing to part with it. Use Great Ball for Pokemon. As Li Shu pressed the Pokeball, a red light flashed. Come out, Geodude. Hey Cha. A gray round stone appeared on the field. The stone stretched out 2 arms from the left and right, looking full of muscles. Chu Rui's pupils shrank outside the field. Oh no, it's Geodude. Li Fei, who was lying on the ground, had already stood up, but at this moment he was more than 10 steps away from Chu Rui, and at the same time looked at Chu Rui defensively, for fear that he would rush over and beat him up again. Hearing Chu Rui's exclamation, Li Fei said triumphantly, unexpectedly, my cousin's Geodude, but Mega is strong, just this Bunnelby, what can I use to fight him? Dare to challenge the junior trainer, really act recklessly. Geodude has the rock-type attribute. Although it can't cause the superior damage of the attribute to the normal-type Bunnelby, don't forget that the rock-type Pokemon has great resistance to the skills and moves of the normal-type attribute. That is to say, the original damage of 10 on other Pokemon is changed to 5 when it hits rock Pokemon. Coupled with Geodude's extremely strong defense and suppression of strength, the pressure instantly came to Chen Yifan. Pokemon. Geodude. Attribute. Rock-type plus Ground-type. Ability, Hard Head. When using skills with reaction force, you will not be hurt. Species Strength. 300. Qualification, Excellent. Strength. Common level. Skills, Tackle, Defense Curl, Rock Throw. Note Geodude often lie on mountain paths or in caves, making them often mistaken for normal stones. Geodude uses its arms to lift itself up steep climbs, or to throw its fists when someone steps on it. Geodudes are proud of their hard bodies and will challenge each other with other Geodudes to prove who has the toughest body. Geodude. Chen Yifan's expression froze. As long as he didn't evolve, it's fine. Although this battle is not easy, for him and Bunnelby, it's not impossible for him and Bunnelby to win. Although the defense is strong, the speed of Geodude is not so satisfactory. However, this does not prevent the value of Geodude from being low. Geodude, which has 2 evolutionary forms, is also one of the Pokemon that countless trainers who love rock Pokemon want. However, it should be mentioned here that not all Pokemon with evolutionary forms can evolve, and there are qualification restrictions. The higher the qualification, the promotion will naturally be faster. Of course, this is not absolute. There used to be an elite in the Washa Alliance, and he was able to aspire to the elite position with a few Pokemon with the highest qualifications but excellent. His journey can be called a legend. Both, are you ready? The staff member standing in the middle asked patiently, looking at Chen Yifan with some pity in his eyes. From the observations just now, he also has a little understanding of the specific situation. This young man is just a trainee trainer, and he dared to fight a junior trainer, even when attribute was not dominant. I don't know if it's a lunatic who is not afraid of tigers when a newborn calf is not afraid of tigers, or a real fool. Betting on the release of Pokemon is no joke. At that time, if you want to renege on your debts, your life will be over. Even if you don't renege on your debts, your life will be like that. He has seen too many trainers who are devastated after losing, especially in the novice stage. This is the easiest time to lose confidence. Chen Yifan and Li Shu looked at each other, one with a cold face, and the other with a bright smile, forming an extreme contrast ratio. But they all responded at the same time, ready. Okay. The staff member nodded, suddenly took out a small flag from his pocket, and acted as the referee of the game. Get ready, count down for 3 seconds. 3, 2, Bunnelby bowed, and Geodude clenched his fists. 1. The match begins. As soon as the words fell, Li Shu showed a smug smile and shouted, don't give it any chance, Geodude, rock throw attack. Hey Cha. The energy in Geodude's body gathered in his hands, forming a shiny gray rock, and under the exertion of force, he flew in the direction of Bunnelby with precision. Rock throw is Geodude's favorite move, and it's also Li Shu's often one-hit stunt. From Li Shu's point of view, Chen Yifan and his Bunnelby definitely don't have much reaction time. With the skill power rating of rock throw reaching 50 and supplemented by his own Geodude's strength, he will definitely be able to kill Bunnelby in one go. Seeing the incoming stone, Bunnelby stood in place, staring at the trajectory of the falling stone. Chen Yifan showed a cold look. Quick attack. Dig. The next second, when the stone was about to hit him, Bunnelby finally moved and turned into a white light, allowing rock throw to hit the air. At the same time, Bunnelby kept rushing towards Geodude with both legs. Hiding away. Li Shu's eyes showed surprise, and then showed a trace of cruelty. It's fine to hide away, but if you dare to charge over, you're courting death. Geodude, use defense curl. Under Li Shu's order, a white light also appeared on Geodude's body surface, and his whole body shrank into a ball, like a round stone normal. The defense curl skill can improve the defense power of Geodude, making the already strong defense power of Geodude to a higher level. At this time, Bunnelby had already rushed in front of Geodude, under the white light, raised two pairs of big ears and slashed at Geodude, who had turned into a round stone. Boom! There was a crisp crash, and Bunnelby and Geodude, who had turned into a boulder, took a few steps back at the same time. Bunnelby rubbed his reddened ears, as if he had been hit by a piece of oreburg just now. Its strength seemed to have no effect, and instead shocked him sorely. I have to say that Geodude of ability has a really hard head. Defense curls. Geodude recovered, and Bunnelby's quick attack didn't seem to have caused it the slightest damage. He raised his small muscular arm, showing his strength. But looking at its slightly trembling right hand still shows the strength of Bunnelby, which can shake it in defense curl form. Li Shu didn't notice any abnormalities in Geodude, and smiled proudly when he saw it. Geodude's defense is not something a cat or dog like you can break through. For those Pokemon who only had normal skills in the early stage, Geodude is a father-level existence. In Li Shu's view, even if Chen Yifan's Bunnelby is at a higher level, it is impossible to defeat him. Go ahead, rock throw attack. Hey Cha, that's it, Geodude, take down this for me. Li Fei laughed strangely off the court, as if he had seen the scene where his cousin won the victory. On the other hand, Chu Rui became even more worried. How could Yifan's Bunnelby win? Even quick attack didn't work. Facing this Geodude with strong defense and strong attack, can Yifan really win? Seeing Li Fei's voice getting louder, Chu Rui couldn't help glaring at him. Hush your mother's voice, you want to be beaten again, don't you? Li Fei stopped in embarrassment. If he could, he really didn't want to be punched by this stupid guy again. My cousin is still on stage, and no one will come to help him at this moment. A man can bend and stretch. Wait for Chen later. Yifan lost, I see how crazy you are. Back on the stage, Bunnelby was busy avoiding the constant attacks of rock throw. Geodude's movements were not slow, and his proficiency in rock throw skills was not low. This guy named Li Shu still has some real skills of. Seeing Bunnelby, who was in pain because he had no time to dodge one of the rock throws, Chen Yifan became calmer. Geodude's defense is too strong. Even if you directly use Iron Head to attack hard steel, you may not be able to win. Once the opponent is prepared, the defense of Geodude in defense curl form is definitely not something that Bunnelby can break. Moreover, Bunnelby is only at the apprentice level after all, and the more powerful the skill, the more physical energy it will consume. Being able to use an Iron Head attack is already the limit for today's Bunnelby. He had to find a chance to show rival. He has to wait. Dig dig. With red palms, Bunnelby opened the rock throw again, and rubbed the chest hit by the rock throw just now. The fur was slightly turned outward, and he had already suffered a lot of injuries. Li Shu really didn't expect that this guy's Bunnelby could be so tenacious, and a trainer's Pokemon could fight Geodude back and forth. His Geodude used to fight against this kind of Pokemon, which one would not fall down at the first touch. This dead rabbit was hit twice by rock throw head-on, and it was still alive and kicking. Glancing at Geodude, who was already a little out of breath, after releasing so many rock throw attacks in a row, Geodude's physical strength was a little exhausted, and the power of the stones began to decline gradually. No, he doesn't want to be consumed by this kind of guy, so he has to find a way. A frontal attack will definitely not work. Geodude can't catch up with Bunnelby, so let this guy take the initiative to attack and get another rock throw, and Bunnelby will definitely fall. Li Shu rolled his eyes and made Geodude stop attacking. Seeing that Geodude's attack stopped, Chen Yifan on the opposite side seemed to have finally found his chance. It's now, Bunnelby, quick attack, dig. Looking at Bunnelby, who turned into white light again, Li Shu couldn't stop the smile from the corner of his mouth. That's great. Boy, you've been tricked. Geodude, tackle. Hey cha. Geodude clenched his fists, looked in the direction of the white light, and rushed towards Bunnelby. In Li Shu's view, as long as two Pokemon collide, Bunnelby will never be able to withstand the Geodude's attack. As long as there is a decline, his Geodude can take advantage of the victory and chase away the dead rabbit. Victory still belongs to him after all. Chen Yifan, honestly, let me release Pokemon. Li Shu grinned grimly, looking at the victory that seemed to be coming soon, and Chen Yifan's desperate expression. He showed a hearty smile. At this moment, Chen Yifan chuckled suddenly. Really? So I was tricked. Huh. Li Shu was taken aback when he heard this, and then looked at the battlefield. Boom. There was another dull sound, and the two Pokemon collided with each other, but it was a little different from what Li Shu imagined. I saw the blue veins on my Geodude's forehead bulging, and Bunnelby, who also clenched his teeth, pressed against each other, and even maintained a tie on the court. How is it possible? Li Shu couldn't believe it. How could this Bunnelby dare to compete with Geodude in strength, and it seemed to be a tie? Chen Yifan breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the situation on the field, he clenched his fists and shouted, Bunnelby, borrow your strength. Dig. Bunnelby's eyes flicked, and with the force of his free ears, he pushed the concentrated Geodude staggeringly. The opportunity is here. Chen Yifan smiled, and with all his 5 fingers, he shook it violently. Come on, let this junior trainer see our strength. With all your strength, Iron Head attacks. Dig. What? In the blink of an eye, Bunnelby's entire head, including the ears, turned silver and white, shining like Orberg. Boom. Hey cha. With a loud noise, mixed with Geodude's miserable growl, Bunnelby's entire head collided with Geodude. Geodude's entire body flew upside down, and at the same time, countless stone fragments fell from his body involuntarily. Boom. Geodude fell to the ground like a meteorite, smashing the ground into a small pothole, and it happened to be less than a few centimeters away from Li Shu, scaring Li Shu quite badly. How is it possible? Li Shu's face turned pale, and he couldn't help muttering, looking at Geodude who had fainted. His body was a little weak. Iron Head. That is a powerful skill of Steel type, especially against Geodude with Rock type. If it hits other Pokemon, it will cause 20 damage, then it will hit Geodude with 40 damage. No matter how strong Geodude's defense is, it will take a break to withstand Bunnelby's real Iron Head attack. This rabbit can do this trick. Lost, cousin lost. Li Fei outside the arena widened his eyes, the eyeballs were almost protruding, and at the same time his feet softened and he fell to the ground. He couldn't believe that Chen Yifan, who had always been looked down upon by him, this guy who had nothing but good looks, could actually defeat his cousin head on one day. Yifan. 1. Chu Rui was also in a daze. The situation of the battle just now turned so fast. He thought Chen Yifan was going to lose, but he really didn't expect it. Chu Rui's face gradually turned rosy, and he turned to look at Li Fei who had fallen limply to the ground. With joy on his face, he was gearing up for a while. Now, these two fools are done. It seems that the junior trainer is nothing more than that. Of course, it is absolutely impossible to let him fight. But now he really can't see through his friend. Bunnelby who knows the Iron Head skill is too strong. Chen Yifan, maybe he can really get a result in the Little Ho-Oh Cup. After the battle, Bunnelby returned to Chen Yifan panting heavily. Although the battle was won, it also exhausted his physical strength. If Geodude could hold on, it would be him. Holding Bunnelby in his arms, rubbing its red ears, Chen Yifan said with some distress, Bunnelby, thank you for your hard work. Doug. Bunnelby in his arms shook his head lightly, and smiled at Chen Yifan. Chen Yifan also responded with a warm smile. There is still a long way to go, and they will continue to become stronger together. Bunnelby will always accompany him to the end. The staff took a step forward and took a look at Geodude who had passed out. At the same time, he looked at Chen Yifan who was hugging with Bunnelby with surprise in his eyes. A trainee trainer actually has a Pokemon who has learned the Iron Head skill. It's not normal. Today's young people are really getting stronger from generation to generation. It seems that he is blind. However, he did not forget his duty, but this time the object of sympathy has changed from Chen Yifan to Li Shu. He glanced at Li Shu, raised the flag in his hand, and said confidently, Geodude has lost the ability to fight, this time contract bet winner, Chen Yifan. The second after the staff finished speaking, a familiar voice suddenly sounded in Chen Yifan's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host. It is the first time to defeat a junior trainer in a battle. The system rewards a bronze scratch card. Since it is a leapfrog battle, the reward is doubled. Bronze scratch card X2 has been put into the system backpack, and the host can use it at any time. Extract. Chen Yifan's face was overjoyed. He didn't expect to get unexpected rewards, which is not bad, although it is the lowest level bronze scratch card, but don't forget that Bunnelby's aptitude is enhanced by the rewards in the bronze scratch card. But why didn't he defeat the trainee trainer? Although the opponent he defeated was his girlfriend, Meow Meow was also a trainee trainer. Could it be that a trainee trainer is not counted in the trainer level? Chen Yifan was a little dazed, and then he didn't think about it anymore. He cast his eyes on Li Shu, who was pale and bowed his head, and walked towards Li Shu. At this time, Chu Rui also walked onto the stage. Li Shu, you lost. Chen Yifan said coldly. Li Shu shivered, looked at the alliance staff in front of him, Chen Yifan, and Chu Rui, fell to their knees with a plop, and said in tears, Chen. Brother Chen, please, I beg you. Please let me go, this time I was fooled by Lard and came up with this outrageous bet. If I release Pokemon, my dad will kill me. Please, let me live. You can spend as much money as you want, 10,000, I will give you 10,000 alliance coins. Looking at Li Shu, who had changed so much just now, Chen Yifan and Chu Rui didn't have the slightest pity in their eyes. If they knew today, why bother? Chen Yifan was able to take this bet. Apart from believing that he and Bunnelby could win, he was also forced by Li Shu to have no other choice. Since he chose this path, he had to keep going. 20,000. Is 20,000 okay? No. 50,000, I'll give you 50,000, brother Chen, just let me go. Seeing that Chen Yifan's expression was not right, Li Shu quickly stretched out 2 fingers, and then 5. The 20,000 was already his entire savings, and he had to find ways to get the remaining 30,000 from his family. The contract is optional if the winner agrees. But Chen Yifan did not intend to let this guy go. The moment he said to release the Pokemon, he angered Chen Yifan's outrage. Bunnelby is his Pokemon, his partner, and even his friend. He tolerates no one Solician profane. Moreover, the few kowtows were not enough for Li Fei's insult to him, and he happened to get it back from his cousin. He admits that he is short of money. He is very short of money. If he takes the 50,000, it will greatly improve his family, himself, and Bunnelby. But he does not like. It's not that he is aggressive, he just doesn't want to let go of any enemy who is hostile to him. Chen Yifan looked at the staff and nodded slightly. Excuse me, please carry out the procedure. The staff looked at him in surprise. They didn't even have 50,000 alliance coins in their hearts. Ignoring the crying Li Shu, the staff stretched out his hand to him, and said in a gentle but unfeeling way, Mr. Li Shu, according to the contract, the loser must release all his Pokemon, please hand over your Pokemon. Pokeball. According to our inquiry, you are a junior trainer and have 2 Pokemon, so please hand over your 2 Pokeballs. Li Shu directly signed the contract to release all Pokemon. He thought he would never lose, so naturally he would not take this contract seriously. Unexpectedly, it paid a heavy price for it. The loss of 2 Pokemon will be a huge blow to him and his family. However, Chen Yifan has no obvious benefits. The released Pokemon does not belong to him, but to the Alliance. It is up to the Alliance to decide whether to release it to the habitat or take it to the breeder center for cultivation. If Li Shu hadn't forced him to do this kind of harm to others, he would not have been able to do it. After Li Shu, with trembling palms, pressed the release button of his 2 Pokeballs to the staff, Li Shu fell to the ground with a plop and passed out. Li Fei outside the court looked at Chen Yifan and Chu Rui in fear, and hid himself far away, not daring to take a step closer to them. Chen Yifan and Chu Rui looked at each other, nodded at the same time, and walked out quickly. Behind the training field, only the sound of the staff calling the rescue center was left. After leaving the training ground, Chu Rui let out a long breath. Seeing Chen Yifan with a relaxed and natural expression, he couldn't help but said, Yifan, you were really good at it, I can't believe it at this moment, you actually defeated a junior trainer. It's okay, this is the basic operation of my buddy, you have to get used to it in the future. Chen Yifan smiled, bragging to his friends indifferently. Chu Rui shook his head. Chen Yifan gave him too much shock today, he needs to digest it properly now. After the unpleasant incident with the two brothers of the Li family, Chen Yifan and Chu Rui lost the mood to stay here any longer. They went to the service area together to heal Bunnelby's injury before returning home. Hey, handsome guy. The first time she saw Chen Yifan's return, Ms. Nurse, who was still on duty, was overjoyed. She thought Chen Yifan was a prodigal son, and wanted to find her for a drink and chat overnight. Unexpectedly, Chen Yifan then handed over a pokeball, which made her face collapse. With a smelly face, he helped Chen Yifan put the pokeball into the device. During the 10 minutes of waiting, Chen Yifan didn't talk to her again. Instead, he chatted happily with Chu Rui, which made her look even more ugly. Hello, all right. After receiving the pokeball from Miss Nurse with an unchanging face, Chen Yifan and Chu Rui were a little surprised. They were all fine just now, but why did they change their faces so quickly? Ignoring the narcissistic Miss Nurse, the two left the training center, said goodbye and left. Taking the number 18 bus all the way back home, her mother Liang Wenjing hasn't come back from work. Although today is Saturday, it is also the busiest time for Liang Wenjing. Liang Wenjing works in a scenic spot in Rongcheng. As a toll collector, Saturdays and Sundays are the busiest time for these toll collectors. On the contrary, normal working days are relatively leisurely, but when it comes to holidays or winter and summer vacations, it will be even busier. Up. Chen Yifan first released Bunnelby from the Pokeball, and after the recovery of the equipment, Bunnelby has recovered to the full contest condition regardless of his external injuries or physical strength. This point has to give a thumbs up to the researchers at the Pokemon Center who developed these magical instruments. Are you hungry? Dig dig. Chen Yifan dug out all the 10 yuan bag of Pokemon food he bought a few days ago from the cupboard. Handed it all to Bunnelby. Come on, eat first, eat as much as you can, and we'll go buy it after eating. Dig. Bunnelby happily took the gray-brown Pokemon food, tore open one of the bags, and started eating non-stop with the food in his hand. It is also hungry, fighting for half a day, coupled with the victory against Geodude, mental exhaustion cannot be recovered by instruments alone. At this time, the role of Pokemon food is reflected. This kind of 10 yuan a bag is the most common Pokemon food, and it is also the most popular Pokemon food. No matter what Pokemon is, it is suitable for eating this kind of food. Of course, the advantages of this kind of food are only the price advantage and suitable food. There are just too many Pokemon. Chen Yifan decided to buy Pokemon food suitable for Bunnelby or normal type Pokemon after eating these foods. The kind of food is more nutritious. Although the price is expensive, he should be able to last until the beginning of a small Ho-Oh Cup. As long as you get the ranking in the little Ho-Oh Cup, there will be rewards, but the reward for the champion is the most generous. When I have money, I will find those breeders who will ration food for Bunnelby. Rubbing Bunnelby's long ears, Chen Yifan spread his palms, and under the drive of his thoughts, he took out the 2 bronze scratch cards from the system backpack. When these 2 cards sat on the bus, he couldn't wait. He really wanted to know what rewards the bronze scratch card could bring him this time. Looking at the 2 flashing bronze Lucas cards, Chen Yifan put his palms together, muttering incessantly. Togepi, Togetic, Togekiss bless you, help me get good things, I don't mind anything, as long as I can use it. Digu. Bunnelby, who was eating happily, looked up at Trainer who suddenly became strange, tilted his head, and continued to eat. After chanting for a while, Chen Yifan took a deep breath and scraped off the copper-colored coating of the first bronze-level scratch card. Ding! Congratulations to the host for scratching the bronze-level scratch card and getting a reward, 50,000 Alliance coins. The reward has been automatically credited to your Pokemon Pokédex account, and you can check it at any time. Chen Yifan was slightly taken aback, 50,000 Alliance coins. He didn't expect that this system could scrape out money in addition to things related to Pokemon. Is he lost and recovered? Li Shu didn't get the 50,000, so he turned around and scraped 50,000 from the system. Chen Yifan was a little dumbfounded, but he was still in a good mood, and he was considered rich, right? Looking at Bunnelby beside him, Chen Yifan smiled and couldn't help rubbing its head, causing Bunnelby a burst of dissatisfaction. Little guy, from now on, we will have money. Judo. Chen Yifan said happily. With the 50,000, he can also go to the Pokemon breeding house opened by the Pokemon breeder in Rongcheng to prepare food for Bunnelby. Although he knew that the 50,000 yuan might not last long, it was considered a start. When he had money in the future, he asked his mother to quit her job and enjoy life at home without having to stay in that scenic spot to be manipulated by others. Everything seems to be fine. Pokemon Pokédex also has the function of a bank card. As long as there is a limit in it, you can not only pay online, but also go to the bank to withdraw cash, which is very convenient. Looking at the first alliance coin limit of 51,335 in Pokemon Pokédex, Chen Yifan showed a smile on his face, and continued to scratch the second bronze level scratch card, not knowing what the second one would be. Is it alliance coins, or like the first one, Pokemon level up cards? Ding! Congratulations to the host for scratching the bronze level scratch card and getting the reward, Skill Learning Machine Fake Out X1. Congratulations to the host, the reward has been distributed to the backpack and can be withdrawn at any time. Fake Out. Chen Yifan looked down at his own Bunnelby. If he remembered correctly, it should be impossible for Bunnelby to learn the skill of Fake Out. Pokemon does not have a skill learning machine to learn the corresponding skills, it depends on the Pokemon itself. Just like a Caterpie, even if you give it an Ember skill learning machine, it is impossible to learn Ember skills, otherwise the skill learning machine will be wasted in vain. Just like Bunnelby, even if the learning machine is in front of you, you can't learn Ember. Just as Chen Yifan thought about it, the voice in his head sounded again. It is detected that the host has doubts about the system's rewards. What can be told to the host is that the system rewards the skill learning machine. The host can use it with confidence, and any Pokemon can learn this skill. Chen Yifan was stunned, then took out the white disc from his backpack, and took Bunnelby back into the Pokeball despite Bunnelby's objection. Insert Fake Out's learning machine into Pokemon Pokédex, find Bunnelby's avatar, and Chen Yifan clicks to use it. With a soft sound, the CD-ROM of the learning machine was scattered like powder, and then, Chen Yifan clicked on Bunnelby's information. Pokemon. Bunnelby. Attribute. Normal. Ability. Hercules. Species Strength. 237. Qualification. Rare. Strength Trainee Level. Skills Mud Slap, Tackle, Quick Attack, Iron Head, Fake Out. It's true. Chen Yifan pinched himself. A gleam of light flashed in his eyes. Bunnelby can learn Fake Out, which means that it is possible to learn stronger skills and moves in the future. In Legendary, there are a series of powerful skills such as Destructive Deathlight, Sun Flames, and Hydro Cannon. As long as they can be drawn, for Chen Yifan, they are a full-fledged bottom-line move. This function is too strong. There was a flame in Chen Yifan's heart, as if he saw a bright future beckoning to him. After releasing Bunnelby from the Pokeball, Bunnelby seemed to feel the difference in himself, and stood there in a daze, and it took a while to recover. Looking up at Chen Yifan, Bunnelby rubbed his trousers affectionately, continued to open a bag of Pokemon food in front of him, and ate it with big mouthfuls. Chen Yifan leaned on the back of his chair, secretly thinking about his next plan. With the huge sum of 50,000 alliance coins, there must be a huge change in his next plan. Originally, he thought that he didn't have much savings, so he went to the trackless forest on the outskirts of Rongcheng. There were a lot of Pokemon there, so he could be a training partner for Bunnelby, and powerful Pokemon were rare. It's not that dangerous. But that is only relative. In principle, it is forbidden for trainee trainers to go to the trackless forest alone. Casualties over the years are not uncommon. In the forest, there are Pokemon who are afraid of people, and Pokemon who are not afraid of people. Pokemon that attack humans are not uncommon, such as Pokemon such as Ekans, Arbok, and Mankey. Especially for Mankey in Estrus, once he encounters a human with little fighting power, the consequences will be unimaginable. And don't think about capturing Pokemon and selling it. It is illegal to sell Pokemon privately. Unless you capture and use it yourself, the law does not allow private sales. Only by going to some specific places or obtaining relevant qualifications can you be qualified to sell Pokemon. But it's different now. With money, he naturally doesn't have to risk his life to go to trackless forest. Perhaps, he can go to the training center to find a partner. Thinking of this, Pokemon Pokédex suddenly rang. It was Zhong Meow Meow calling. The next second after connecting the phone, I heard Zhong Meow Meow's aggrieved voice coming from the phone. Woo. Xiao Chen. Meow Meow. What's the matter? What happened? Chen Yifan was startled. No. It's nothing, it's just that I miss you, and my father won't let me go out. On the other end of the phone, Zhong Meow Meow was crying, and wanted to tell her boyfriend about the pain of parting. Chen Yifan breathed a sigh of relief, unable to laugh or cry. I miss you too, but I can't do anything if my uncle won't let you out. If you agree, I'll rush into your house and bring you out right away, okay? Screw you. Zhong Meow Meow snorted coquettishly. My father will beat me to death. Xiao Chen, you are getting worse and worse. For this Stephanie who exudes a seductive aura, Chen Yifan also has no way, or no resistance. Since the two confirmed their relationship, Chen Yifan has thought about Zhong Meow Meow a lot. I talked with Zhong Meow Meow for a while, and finally Zhong Meow Meow couldn't help but said, Xiao Chen, tomorrow I told my father that I was going to ration Pokemon food for Fennekin, and my father also agreed. You will accompany me tomorrow, right? Rationing Pokemon food. Chen Yifan looked down at his Bunnelby, and said without any hesitation, no problem, the little one is always ready for the eldest lady's instructions. Hee, that's good, then, see you tomorrow. Great, see you tomorrow. Love you, wooden horse. After hanging up the phone, Zhong Meow Meow breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Chen Yifan agreed, she could use the reason of rationing Pokemon food for Fennekin tomorrow, and by the way, arrange for Chen Yifan's Bunnelby. When the time comes to get the food in hand, Xiao Chen will definitely not refuse. Zhong Meow Meow nodded in satisfaction. Her plan was perfect, seamless. He couldn't help but hug Fennekin, who was wagging his tail like a puppy dog, in his arms, and rubbed him vigorously. Ah, she still wanted to see Xiao Chen so much, she didn't want to wait a day. Firefox. Hanging up the phone, Chen Yifan shook his head and smiled. He guessed Zhong Meow Meow's little thoughts clearly, and it's not like he hasn't done it before. He also arranged everything for him on the basis of his own reasons for wanting this and that. He rejected them before, but now that their identities have changed, from friends to lovers, can he still refuse? Of course I can. After all, this is a matter of a man's dignity. Early the next morning. Mom, I'm going out. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Liang Wenjing came out of the bedroom. Seeing her son standing at the door, who was very clean and handsome, she was a little surprised and said, I haven't had breakfast yet, why are you going out so early? Well, Chen Yifan smiled, and then closed the door with a bang, leaving only 2 words outside the door. You guess. This child. Liang Wenjing smiled, and then yawned. Today is a rare day off, so she has to sleep in. Knowing a child is like a mother, this kid must be looking for his little girlfriend. Chengdu City Center. Borg Square. This is one of the busiest business districts in downtown Rongcheng. The Pokemon breeding house that Zhong Meow Meow wanted to go to was also here, and Chen Yifan's house happened to be not far from here, and he arrived at the appointed place soon. Looking at this bustling city, Chen Yifan felt more feelings that he had never had before. In the past, he tried his best to integrate into it, but now it seems that it is not so important. Naturally, cars are the main means of transportation in this world. There are common family cars and expensive luxury cars. In the past, Chen Yifan's dream was to leave the village and the city and have a real home that belonged to him and his mother. There is a car. Except for the common means of transportation, the powerful trainers usually ride Pokemon on the road. Among them, Pokemon running on land is the most common, followed by Pokemon in the sea and air. The road to Pokemon. However, only powerful Pokemon can carry trainer around. After all, running for a long time is a huge test for Pokemon's physical strength. Like trainee trainers or primary trainers, or even intermediate trainers, it is very difficult to have a Pokemon that can be ridden. Guess who I am? Just when Chen Yifan was wandering in the sky, a pair of delicate hands gently covered Chen Yifan's eyes. Wow, who is it? I can't see it. Chen Yifan groaned strangely, and then laughed. I guess, it must be a little pig. HMPH, you are the pig, you are a big smelly and fat wild boar. Zhang Meow Meow behind her snorted, turned her head to the side. She decided, 10 minutes. No, a minute is fine. For a minute, he ignored Xiao Chen, a bad guy, and called her a pig. People, they are so skinny, they look like pigs. Chen Yifan smiled, turned around and looked at Yi Ren, who was still beautiful. Her two long legs were dangling in the wind, and held Zhang Meow Meow's little hand. Okay, I was wrong, our Meow Meow is not a pig, I am the pig. HMPH, you are. Zhang Meow Meow couldn't hold back the smile at the corner of her mouth as she spoke, and burst into laughter. The two fingers intertwined. Zhang Meow Meow looked at Chen Yifan, pouted, and couldn't help but bury her little head in Chen Yifan's arms, circling with her fingers. Xiao Chen, I miss you so much, do you have any? Miss me? Of course I do, Chen Yifan said. That's how much you think? Zhang Meow Meow asked. I just really want to. Oh, Zhang Meow Meow was a little dissatisfied with this answer, but after thinking about it, she was probably the only one who could make Chen Yifan talk like this, and, besides, wasn't this the result she had dreamed of? The title Xiao Chen belonged to her exclusively, and Xiao Chen became her own. Thinking of this, Zhang Meow Meow became happy again. Hee hee, alright, you've passed the test. Chen Yifan couldn't help but rubbed Zhang Meow Meow's head, smelling the fragrance, couldn't help but kissed her hair. Have you had breakfast? Let's go have breakfast, my treat. Zhang Meow Meow shook her head. Of course she wanted to eat with her favorite Xiao Chen. But then she reacted again. Okay, Xiao Chen, you actually dare to kiss me? No, I want to kiss back too. In this way, amidst the noise of the two, Chen Yifan took Zhang Meow Meow to a Cantonese-style morning tea shop in a nearby shopping mall. It is said that the owner is a serious Hong Kong native, and the morning tea is very authentic. Of course, Chen Yifan saw all these news on the review software. Xiao Chen, I actually like small noodles, why don't we go eat small noodles? I know there is a delicious noodle restaurant nearby. Seeing the luxurious decoration of the store, Zhang Meow Meow was a little hesitant. She knew that Chen Yifan's family was not good, so she couldn't bear to let her boyfriend pay these unnecessary expenses. If you want to be a good trainer, but it is very expensive, the Trainee-Trainer Alliance will not take care of it, and only after the junior level, there will be some sporadic subsidies. Chen Yifan held Zhang Meow Meow's little hand tightly, looking at this Stephanie who was only thinking of herself, his whole heart almost melted. The male lead is outside, the female lead is inside, haven't you heard of it? Now you are outside, you have to listen to me, okay? Seeing Chen Yifan's serious look, Zhang Meow Meow couldn't help but chuckled, nodded and said with a smile, okay, I listen to you, I listen to you. The two had a good meal at the morning tea shop. The taste was really good. The crystal shrimp dumpling and Hong Kong-style steamed chicken feet here were superb, and the consumption was not as high as Chen Yifan imagined. The two spent a total of 320, which is the price in a bustling business district, and it is not so unacceptable to Chen Yifan now. Is it tasty? Delicious. Hearing Chen Yifan's question, Zhang Meow Meow's face was filled with a happy smile. The taste is actually not important to her, what is important? Who to eat with. Swallowing the last bite of shrimp dumplings, adhering to the concept of not wasting a little food, Zhang Meow Meow rubbed her bulging stomach, and said with some distress, Xiao Chen. I seem to have eaten too much. Getting fat is a big taboo for a Stephanie. As the saying goes, one is fat and one is beautiful. Zhang Meow Meow doesn't want to become fat. What if Chen Yifan doesn't like her? Chen Yifan couldn't understand this girl's thoughtfulness, and pulled Zhang Meow Meow up from her seat. I like it only if I grow fat and white. HMPH. Zhang Meow Meow hummed like a piglet, and leaned against Chen Yifan. No, I can't walk anymore, carry me on your back. Looking around, there were not too many people in the morning, so Chen Yifan could only nod, squatted down, and carried the big girl on his back. Zhang Meow Meow is 1.7 meters tall and weighs only about 50 kilograms, which is a thin type. Chen Yifan can carry it easily. Holding Zhang Meow Meow's small luxury bag priced at 40,000 to 50,000 alliance coins in one hand, and holding Zhang Meow Meow in the other hand to prevent her from falling, Chen Yifan perfectly fulfilled his responsibilities as a boyfriend. Letting Zhang Meow Meow was very moved. All the way back from the escalator on the 4th floor of the morning tea shop to the 1st floor, and out of the gate of the mall, Zhang Meow Meow couldn't help but be watched by others, and asked Chen Yifan to put her down shyly. The Pokemon breeding house that the two are going to is located on the second basement level of Berg Plaza. This Pokemon breeding house was opened by a mid-level breeder who has become popular on the internet recently. Although the fee is a bit high, it is said that the breeder's craftsmanship is quite strong. Taking the elevator to the second basement floor, the house number of Feiyu breeding house clearly appeared in front of the two of them. Although the reputation is not small, there is still no need to line up for the breeding house at this meeting. After all, there are only a small number of trainers who can afford a famous intermediate breeder. Welcome to the Feiyu breeding house to serve you. May I ask what you need? Entering the lobby full of Myron's new decoration style, the waiter at the front desk greeted her as usual, but when she looked up and saw the combination of Zhang Meow Meow and Chen Yifan, she couldn't help being taken aback. Meow, meow meow. Zhang Meow Meow and Chen Yifan also saw the appearance of the front desk lady, and were taken aback for a moment. Then Zhang Meow Meow said happily, "Wow, Wei Wei, why are you here?" This is Gu Wei, Zhang Meow Meow and Chen Yifan's high school classmates. They have a pretty good relationship with Zhang Meow Meow on weekdays, and they belong to the type that can be talked about. Of course I'm here to work. Gu Wei replied with a smile, glanced at Chen Yifan next to her, nodded slightly, and Chen Yifan also smiled back. Seeing the close relationship between the two, Gu Wei was still holding hands, couldn't help pointing at the two of them, and teased, "Oh, you two. Hee, that's right, Xiao Chen will be my man from now on." Zhang Meow Meow smiled and held Chen Yifan's hand tightly, saying without hesitation, "That's really congratulations." Gu Wei nodded and smiled, and at the same time looked at Chen Yifan with some envy. Zhang Meow Meow never shy away from liking Chen Yifan when she was in high school, and even repeatedly scolded and ran away her countless suitors because of him. Li Fei is one of the most typical examples. If it wasn't for that kick, that guy probably wouldn't be so jealous of Chen Yifan. To be liked by Zhang Meow Meow, I really don't know how many lifetimes of blessings Chen Yifan has cultivated. The two are together, and Chen Yifan should not have to worry about eating and drinking in the future. Gu Wei thought this way, this kind of emperor's life is not like her own. In order to support herself and the Pokemon she just received, she had to work in summer vacation. In the future, she can only find a common man based on the results of the Chinese exam. I went to a good university, and I didn't even dare to think about martial arts exams. Then when you graduate from university, with good luck, you may be able to train Pokemon to advance, pass the junior trainer assessment, become a junior trainer with a little subsidy, and then find a more stable job. The threshold of an intermediate trainer. This is the future life of most common people. Unlike Zhang Meow Meow, who was born with a golden spoon in her mouth, she was born without worrying about food and clothing, and she didn't need to worry about her future at all. With this condition, she won't be too surprised even if she becomes a senior trainer in the future. But now, Chen Yifan, who was living a normal life like her and even more difficult, figured out that he hugged the golden thigh. How could she not be envious? The two people standing opposite naturally didn't know that the classmates in front of them were full of thoughts. After Zhang Meow Meow chatted with Gu Wei for a while, the curtain behind the lobby suddenly opened, revealing the face of a young man with a somewhat delicate face. The two chatted happily, couldn't help but walked behind Gu Wei, frowned and said, "Xiao Gu, this is it." Gu Wei was shocked when she heard the voice, and quickly apologized to the man behind her with a smile. "Ah. I'm sorry, the store manager, I. Gu Wei was at a loss for words for a moment. She hadn't had time to ask Zhang Meow Meow and Chen Yifan what they were doing here. "We came here to ask Teacher Feiyu to recuperate our Pokemon's body and provide Pokemon food." Seeing Gu Wei's predicament, Chen Yifan answered with a smile. "Oh, that's it." The man suddenly realized that he didn't care about Gu Wei's dereliction of duty, and extended his hand to Chen Yifan with a smile. "Hello, I am the store manager of this store, an intermediate breeder Chen Feiyu. I don't dare to be a teacher, I'm just a few years older than you, just call me by my name." Chen Feiyu is 28 years old this year. To become an intermediate breeder at this age, his talent is obviously very good. This is also the signature of his breeder. became popular on the internet for a while, attracting many little female fans who came here especially for the name. The slogan of this store is, "Young breeders understand the choices of young people better." Breeding House Normal doesn't need many staff members, after all, the main focus is on the breeder itself, and other people can't do it. Apart from Gu Wei, there are only 2 or 3 staff members here and there. The two shook hands, and quickly let go. Chen Feiyu enthusiastically invited the 2 to the studio inside, leaving Gu Wei heaving a sigh of relief. The studio is very streamlined, and there will only be Chen Feiyu here. Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow looked around curiously, and then heard Chen Feiyu say, "This is the first time for you 2 to come to us, how about let me introduce you?" Chen Feiyu showed an attractive smile, which is also an important factor for him to attract many female fans, but Zhang Meow Meow was unmoved, just took a look at Chen Feiyu and turned his head to Chen Yifan, still my little Chen is the most handsome. Okay. After listening to Chen Feiyu's quotation, Zhang Meow Meow nodded expressionlessly. The price was not too high for her, but Chen Yifan who was standing beside her was a little stunned. No wonder there are so many people who would rather not become famous as fighting trainers, but also become breeders. I didn't expect that breeders can make so much money as long as they show their heads. There are not many charging items in the breeding house, except for the 3 levels of Pokemon body care, which is the price of Pokemon food. The most common Pokemon care charges around 500 Alliance coins, and a little better is 1000 Alliance coins. The best Pokemon care, plus the cost of special equipment, 5000 Alliance coins for a Pokemon, is simply a steal. Pokemon food is even more outrageous. A cycle 10 days of small Pokemon less than 1 meter in size charges 1 W Alliance coins, and medium-sized Pokemon larger than 1 meter in size but less than 2 meters in size, mainly human-shaped Pokemon charges a cycle 1 W5 Alliance coins, large Pokemon more than 2 meters charge 2 W5 Alliance coins for a cycle. Of course, the more cycles you order, the more favorable the price. The breeding house also accepts annual orders. However, if Normal can afford this price, he will not come to an intermediate-level breeder like Chen Feiyu, but will definitely look for a high-level breeder. Full of money taste, Chen Yifan felt that he was a little ignorant. He didn't expect the price to be so high. He thought that his 5W Alliance coins would last for a long time. No wonder it is said that the powerful trainers are all made with real money, and you can know a thing or two only from the food. If I'm not wrong, both of you just got Pokemon. Here I suggest that you can order a cycle of food first to try the effect. If you think it's okay, welcome to come again. Chen Feiyu suggested with a smile, turning his gaze to Zhang Meow Meow. In his opinion, this girl must have the final say between the 2. As the owner of a breeding house who has read countless girls, he can see that Zhang Meow Meow is a rare, big hand. After all, it is rare to be able to wear tens of thousands of Alliance coins on his body. The kid next to him was different. Although he looked good, he looked cheap in his clothes, and he didn't have a lot of oil or water. Unexpectedly, Zhang Meow Meow looked at Chen Yifan, and shook her little hand slightly. "Xiao Chen, tell me, what kind do you want?" She was a little surprised, because today Chen Yifan didn't object at all to her counting the Bunnelby's food, and her plan has achieved initial results. It seems that Xiao Chen can't save face in this situation. Chen Yifan smiled slightly, tightened the little hands of the girl beside him, and nodded. "Then I will trouble you, the highest level body care for 2 Pokemon, and the food for 2 small Pokemon for 1 cycle. Let's try the effect first, if good, we will come again. Since it costs money, do the best. Advanced body care can heal Pokemon's hidden wounds. Although Bunnelby should have no hidden wounds, who makes it his own Pokemon? If you have money, spend it, and pet it. Okay." Chen Feiyu smiled politely. He still has professional ethics, otherwise his shop wouldn't have been open for so long. "Then please get your Pokemon out, I'll take care of them now." The 2 nodded, took the Pokeball out of their arms, and pressed the button. Bunnelby and Fennekin appeared in front of the 3 of them with vigor. Dig dig, Firefox. The 2 Pokemon heard each other's growl at the same time, and looked at each other curiously. Seeing that it was an old acquaintance, Fennekin frowned, and took a step back in fear. It remembered the slap of Bunnelby at that time, it hurt so much painful. Bunnelby tilted his head, somewhat puzzled. "I am so cute, how can others be afraid of it? Bunnelby. And Fennekin. Chen Feiyu's eyes flashed a gleam. Unexpectedly, this beautiful Stephanie's Pokemon is actually a Fennekin, a big customer. He must show great ability to maintain this big customer well. Breeding houses like theirs also mostly do business for repeat customers. Rolling up his sleeves, Chen Feiyu is ready to go, oh no, to take good care of the two Pokemon. He carried the two Pokemon to the stage, and the two Pokemon were also very obedient, allowing Chen Feiyu to display them. Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow sat aside and watched, and they had to say that professionalism is professionalism. Under Chen Feiyu's care, they could occasionally hear two Pokemon groaning comfortably, which was obviously very comfortable. After a long time, Chen Feiyu wiped the sweat from his forehead, and said to Zhang Meow Meow, who was about to fall asleep in Chen Yifan's arms, both of you, the nursing is over. Congratulations, your Pokemon is in good health. Thank you. Chen Yifan greeted him with a bleary-eyed Zhang Meow Meow, took their respective Pokemon and held them in their arms. After nursing, Bunnelby's fur seemed to be shining, and they rubbed against Chen Yifan's cheek. The expression is very happy. Do. Firefox, Fennekin on the side also hugged his master, thinking he enjoyed this feeling very much. After the two thanked each other again, Chen Feiyu waved his hands. Please wait a moment, both of you, I will arrange food for your Pokemon. After the two agreed, under the watchful eyes of the two, Chen Feiyu walked back and forth in the studio, looking for various food ingredients. For a while, the roar of the juicer and food synthesizer sounded in the room. Seeing Chen Feiyu busy, Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow looked at each other and smiled. It seems that the breeder's money is not easy to earn. Expensive things, the only downside is that they are expensive. What kind of price, what kind of service to enjoy, is the same everywhere. After a while, Chen Feiyu handed to Chen Yifan two bags with the cute faces of Bunnelby and Fennekin on them. The bags contained colorful Pokemon food, which was specially made by Chen Feiyu for the two Pokemon. It is not for sale. It is much more expensive than the most advanced Pokemon food on the market. A little more advanced than this is the Energy Cube, but at Chen Feiyu's current level, he can't get in touch with customers who can afford the Energy Cube for the time being, and he can't make it either. It's a course for advanced breeders. And only the Pokemon whose strength has reached the good level can eat Energy Cubes, otherwise it will not be replenished, but it will be a bad thing. Chen Feiyu sent the two of them to the lobby, and informed Ji Yu Wei, by the way, Xiao Ji Yu, pay the guests. Good boss. Ji Yu Wei smiled and printed the bill on the computer. Seeing the clear words of 30,000 alliance coins on the bill, he couldn't help taking a deep breath. As expected of Zhang Meow Meow, 30,000 alliance coins were spent without even frowning. The benefits here have already been calculated. The salary Chen Feiyu gave her is almost 4,500 alliance coins. After all, she is only a high school graduate and has not even entered university. It is already very good to have this salary. If it wasn't for her pretty looks, Chen Feiyu wouldn't want her. But her salary of 7 or 8 months is only enough for Zhang Meow Meow's consumption this time. Shaking her head secretly, Ji Yu Wei smiled and prepared to hand the bill to Zhang Meow Meow. Hello, your bill. Before he finished speaking, Chen Yifan on the side reached out to take it. Ji Yu Wei was slightly taken aback, and Zhang Meow Meow, who was taking out the Pokemon Pokédex to pay for it, was also taken aback for a moment. Chen Yifan looked at the bill in his hand, nodded, looked at Ji Yu Wei, who was still surprised, and took out the Pokemon Pokédex from his pocket. Come on, pay the bill. Ah, Ji Yu Wei was a little dumbfounded. Most of the students in the class knew about Chen Yifan's family background, and she also knew that Chen Yifan would definitely not be able to get the 30,000 yuan. She didn't plan to ask Chen Yifan to give it to her at the beginning. After all, everyone was a classmate. One time, it's impossible for her to embarrass him. Unexpectedly, this guy took the initiative to take it down. Xiao Chen, what are you doing? Zhang Meow Meow came back to her senses and took a step forward, trying to hold Chen Yifan, but Chen Yifan hugged her back. Turning around and looking at the dissatisfied little girlfriend in doubt, Chen Yifan explained, I have money, besides, I should have paid for it. But Zhang Meow Meow was a little anxious, and wanted to say something, but was blocked by Chen Yifan's next sentence. Didn't you agree? You have to listen to me outside, and I will tell you when I go out later. Oh, upon hearing this, Zhang Meow Meow pouted, and had no choice but to allow Chen Yifan to let Ji Yu Wei scan the payment code of Pokemon Pokédex. Ji Yu Wei swallowed her saliva when she saw the words that the payment was successfully received on the computer. Is this still Chen Yifan? Goodbye Vivi. Bye-bye. Seeing Chen Yifan, who was carrying a bag and dragging his girlfriend away, Ji Yu Wei felt very complicated. For some reason, she just felt that the distance between herself and Chen Yifan suddenly seemed to be very far away. What's going on? Tell me the truth. After leaving the door, Zhang Meow Meow put her face on her hips and put on her hips, looking swollen. She was very angry. Her plan had failed again. Xiao Chen, how did he get so much money? Do you know that this is 30,000 alliance coins? Maybe it's Aunt Liang's savings. Xiao Chen's family is not rich, and paying this money will definitely make things worse. She has met Aunt Liang several times, and she also likes Chen Yifan's mother very much, but if Aunt Liang finds out, she will definitely be angry, and her impression of her future daughter-in-law will be bad. Thinking of this, Zhang Meow Meow couldn't help feeling a little anxious. Looking at the angry girlfriend, in Chen Yifan's eyes, she was extremely cute, pinched Zhang Meow Meow's little face, and she opened her paw. Okay, let me explain, can't I explain it? So Chen Yifan changed the story of himself and the two brothers from the Li family, and changed the bet of releasing Pokemon into a bet of 50,000 alliance coins to tell Zhang Meow Meow, who was taken aback for a while. Releasing Pokemon is too cruel for Zhang Meow Meow, he doesn't want to scare Zhang Meow Meow. You said you played a game against a junior trainer and won 50,000. Zhang Meow Meow opened her small mouth slightly and stared at Chen Yifan with wide eyes, as if seeing him for the first time. Fearing that she would not believe it, Chen Yifan also showed her the wallet balance of Pokemon Pokédex. Look, I didn't lie to you, did I? Zhang Meow Meow nodded in a daze, and said to Chen Yifan cutely, Xiao Chen, you are so amazing. The cute words coupled with Zhang Meow Meow's fiery appearance almost made Chen Yifan's blood boil. Resisting the impulse, Chen Yifan raised his mouth slightly. Next, it's time to settle our score. What account? Zhang Meow Meow asked in confusion, tilting her head. Of course you don't trust my account anymore, you have to listen to me if you agreed, look at what you just did. Chen Yifan pretended to be angry. Oh, I was wrong. Next time, it won't happen next time. Amid Zhang Meow Meow's begging for mercy, the two spent the happy hour at noon. In the afternoon, he naturally had to go shopping with Zhang Meow Meow. Zhang Meow Meow specially chose 2 sets of clothes for Chen Yifan, by the way. It is also a kind of harm to the other party. And blindly asking the other party to pay is not enough. Only when everyone pays each other is the right way. Wow, Xiao Chen, look, it's Eevee too. Unknowingly, the two walked to a pedestrian street. There was an uncle on the street who placed a bunch of Pokemon dolls in a loop for interested pedestrians passing by to play. The dolls seem to be quite expensive, and they are built 1-to-1 according to the size of Pokemon. Zhang Meow Meow saw Eevee's doll in it at a glance. As the top 3 most popular Pokemon on the list of the cutest Pokemon all the year round, Eevee's popularity is self-evident. It is simply a girl killer. At the same time, Eevee is also the only Pokemon in the world that has 8 evolutionary forms, and all of its evolutionary forms are very powerful. The price has also risen. As a rare Pokemon, Eevee has no common qualifications, and the lowest qualification is excellent qualifications. The price of Eevee with excellent qualifications is also above 150 W, and sometimes the price has to be increased. If you can meet an Eevee in the wild or in the forest, then congratulations, your luck is like winning a lottery with tens of millions of prizes. Seeing the excited look in Zhang Meow Meow's eyes, Chen Yifan rubbed Zhang Meow Meow's little head, put the 2 big bags in his hand on the ground, and walked over to talk to the boss about the price. Dolls are not only for sale, they must be looped, and a loop is not expensive, 5 yuan. Chen Yifan asked for 10 laps, but he has never tried it. This is the first time, so let's try the water first. Xiao Chen, come on. Zhang Meow Meow on the side looked after the bag under her body while happily cheering for her boyfriend. Passers-by also stopped to watch the handsome boy win the doll he wanted for his girlfriend. Eevee's doll is located in the bottom 3rd row, which is still some distance from Chen Yifan's position. Next to Evie's doll is a side-up doll. Although this duck is silly, it is quite popular. Since Chen Yifan got the system, he found that his willpower seemed to be more concentrated. He concentrated his energy, aimed at the direction of the Evie doll, and threw the ferrule in his hand. In the next second, the people onlookers sighed regretfully. Unfortunately, this circle passed by the Evie doll. Chen Yifan didn't take it seriously, and continued to aim in the direction of the Evie doll, and threw it again. The crowd of onlookers sighed again and passed by again. Xiao Chen, come on. Zhang Meow Meow was afraid that Chen Yifan would be affected, and shouted, "It's okay, take your time, don't worry." Chen Yifan nodded, and threw the circle in his hand for the third time. Under the gaze of everyone, the third circle drew a slight arc in the air, passing through the top of the Evie doll's head with precision, and firmly engulfing the doll. Wow, Xiao Chen is so good. Zhang Meow Meow was so happy that she almost jumped up, and bouncing up to Chen Yifan with the bag on the ground. There were exclamations and applause from the crowd, and the boss also gave a wry smile. Evie was caught in 3 circles. He lost a lot, but he didn't mean to break the rules of the game. With so many people watching, Chen Yifan would soon be the Evie doll in the sleeve was passed into his hands. That's amazing, young man. Chen Yifan took it with a smile, and handed the Evie doll to Zhang Meow Meow. Zhang Meow Meow hugged happily in her arms, and encouraged Chen Yifan to continue playing. Xiao Chen, hurry up, continue. Chen Yifan took a look at the boss with a bitter face. After 3 tricks, he has mastered the experience. It must be easier to trick again. 7 circles may be able to trap 4 or 5, but people are doing small businesses. Yes, it is not easy. Chen Yifan started to throw out the solutions in his hands, and the first 6 were all empty, disappointing the audience and letting the boss breathe a sigh of relief. When it was the last circle, as the circle accurately landed on the head of side-up next to the original Evie doll, there was applause again. The boss can see that Chen Yifan is a master, and he can only admit defeat when he meets a master. He is reasonable, as long as there are 2 of them, he can't be unreasonable. Without hesitation, he handed the side-up doll to the 2, little brother, that's amazing. Thank you boss. Zhang Meow Meow took the side-up doll with a blushing face and held the 2 dolls in her arms. Again, what she cared about was never any dolls. If she wanted dolls, she would buy dozens or even hundreds of them, but when Chen Yifan gave them to her, it was different. Chen Yifan nodded with a smile, picked up the bag that fell on the ground, and took Zhang Meow Meow away. The 2 walked around for a while and ate something in the snack street. Zhang Meow Meow was a little tired. It's getting late. Chen Yifan, the perfect boyfriend who loves his girlfriend, decides to send Zhang Meow Meow home. At first, Zhang Meow Meow was a little reluctant, but when she thought of her father's big black face, she couldn't help but shudder, so she had to agree. After taking a taxi for half an hour, the 2 arrived at the gate of Zhang Meow Meow's villa area. Asking the driver to wait for him for a while, Chen Yifan got out of the car and picked up Zhang Meow Meow's things. Okay, let's go back. Chen Yifan handed the things in his hands to Zhang Meow Meow. Zhang Meow Meow pouted, a little reluctantly. Like the little girl who didn't get the lollipop, Zhang Meow Meow was very unhappy. Seeing this, Chen Yifan smiled, stepped forward and lightly pecked her on the forehead. Zhang Meow Meow became happy now, looked at the doll in her arms, and handed the side-up doll to Chen Yifan, 1 for each. Chen Yifan took it, looked at the naive side-up in his hand, and pinched Stephanie's little nose. Okay, let's go in. Yeah, Zhang Meow Meow nodded, and looked at Chen Yifan with some reluctance. If you miss me, you have to call me every day, you know. Okay, got it. Chen Yifan didn't turn around until he saw Zhang Meow Meow's figure disappearing from his field of vision, and got into the car. Master, please, Jincheng community. Good. The driver took a look at Chen Yifan from the rearview mirror, but didn't say much. Jincheng district. It seems to be an urban village in Rongcheng. This kid is also amazing, and he actually got a rich daughter. The villa of Zhang Meow Meow's family is located at number 12 of the villa area, not far from the gate. Under the kind greetings of the security guards, Zhang Meow Meow arrived in front of the gate of her own villa, opened the door of the front yard with the key, and walked through carefully. In the front yard, Zhang Meow Meow didn't want to make any noise. At this moment, a black figure suddenly appeared, Zhang Meow Meow was startled, but then made a booing motion. Shish, keep it down, Manectric, my dad isn't here, is he? This is his dad's Pokemon, Manectric, who was also her childhood playmate, played with her when she was an Electrike, and watched her grow up. They have a good relationship. Manectric tilted his head and looked at the nervous little master, nodded and shook his head again. Zhang Meow Meow breathed a sigh of relief. It's fine if she's not here. It's fine if she's not here. Where did you go? A faint voice, like a thunderclap on the ground, startled Zhang Meow Meow, who had just relaxed. A middle-aged man in casual clothes with cropped short hair suddenly appeared, looking at her with a dark face. Dad, you're scaring me to death. You don't make a sound. Zhang Meow Meow said with a dissatisfied face while looking at Manectric with small eyes threateningly. Bad guy, dare to lie to me. Manectric blinked innocently. It was a little confused about the situation just now. Besides, didn't it also shake its head, indicating that its master is here? Zhang Wenbin looked at his daughter with some amusement, but in order to maintain his father's majesty, he still said with a dark face, didn't you just go to the breeding house? Why did it take so long? How long have you been there? I'm Stephanie's wife, and I have to go shopping occasionally. Zhang Meow Meow pursed her mouth and turned her face to the side, as if she didn't want to explain too much to Zhang Wenbin. But how could this little trick fool Zhang Wenbin? Since he was young, this girl always lied like this, and he was used to it. I looked at my daughter calmly for a while, and saw that my daughter was carrying a clothes bag in one hand and Pokemon food in the other. It seemed that she was going shopping as she said. Wrong. Zhang Wenbin's eyes were fixed, and Zhang Meow Meow was actually holding a big doll in her right hand. If I remember correctly, her daughter would never buy any dolls when she went out. With Zhang Meow Meow's lazy character, she was too lazy to take it herself. When I came back, even if I bought a doll, the store would deliver it to my doorstep. Unless, who sent it? Zhang Wenbin's eyes moved, as if he had heard their teacher say that this girl had always had a boy she liked in high school. It deserves her liking, what a joke. But now, Zhang Wenbin suddenly became a little convinced. Could it be, there's really a boy he likes? Okay, let's eat right away. Why are you blocking Meow Meow here? Meow Meow is still young, a child. I'm sure she likes to play. At this time, the front door of the compound suddenly opened, and Zhang Meow Meow's mother Ning Jiawei pushed the door out, still holding a spoon in her hand. Seeing the life-saving mother, Zhang Meow Meow's eyes lit up, and she said coquettishly, Mom, look at Dad, it's like interrogating a prisoner, don't you think I'm his precious daughter? Ning Jiawei gave Zhang Wenbin a blank look, and Zhang Wenbin smiled helplessly. At home, he always sings the red face, and Ning Jiawei sings the bad face. Okay, don't do this trick to your father and me, go in quickly, put down your things, and eat. Hee, okay, Manectric, let's go. Zhang Meow Meow hummed a cheerful song, bounced and ran into the house with Manectric, leaving the husband and wife alone in the courtyard. The two looked at each other. Zhang Wenbin spread his hands pretending to be helpless, and Ning Jiawei followed into the room after snorting. He didn't tell Ning Jiawei the clues he found, and now it's just the first clues, so it's not easy to startle the snake. At the dinner table, Zhang Meow Meow frowned, put down her chopsticks before taking a few bites, and secretly rubbed her bulging belly. She and Chen Yifan went to a snack street, and her little stomach ate a lot. Even if faced with the delicious food at home, she couldn't eat it anymore. Meow Meow, why don't you eat? Ning Jiawei was a little surprised. Zhang Meow Meow liked to eat all the dishes cooked today. She used to eat at least 2 bowls of rice. Why did she eat so much today? Zhang Meow Meow smiled flatteringly. Mom, I want to lose weight recently. The doctor said that I can't eat too much during the weight loss period. You're so skinny, why lose weight? Which doctor told you that? I'll go to him for a theory. Ning Jiawei frowned, and put a big meatball into Zhang Meow Meow's bowl. Young people should eat more, don't you want to follow your father's path? If you want to be a trainer, you can't do without a good body of. Oh, Zhang Meow Meow finally wiped out the big meatballs with a bitter face, and when she saw her mother was about to bring food for herself, she put down the bowls and chopsticks in a panic. I'm full, I don't want it. He ran back to the room as if fleeing. Zhang Wenbin witnessed the whole process, but did not say a word. Seeing her daughter leave, Ning Jiawei was a little angry, and when she saw Zhang Wenbin who said nothing, she was even more angry. Zhang Wenbin, look at how well you teach. Daughter, still losing weight, do you have to be as thin as a bamboo pole to look good? Cough. Hearing his wife's words, Zhang Wenbin almost choked. This girl has lost a lot of fat. She usually runs very fast when there is no good food. She is obviously full outside and dare not eat. Tell the family, just say so. This can't help but aggravate the thoughts in his heart. If he was eating with Stephanie, Zhang Meow Meow must have said it openly, only boys would be so coy. But he doesn't want to tell his wife these things yet, so he can only comfort him. My wife, don't worry, I'll go back and persuade her. You're right, what's the point of losing weight at a young age? He deliberately said the last sentence very loudly so that Zhang Meow Meow in the room could also hear it. Ning Jiawei snorted softly, and then let Zhang Wenbin go. Zhang Wenbin heaved a sigh of relief, but at the same time he was secretly annoyed as to which family's boy had abducted his precious daughter without anyone noticing. When there is a chance, he must meet. He didn't object to Zhang Meow Meow having a boyfriend, but at least he had to be qualified to be worthy of his own daughter. This is an idea from an elite trainer who also serves as the vice chairman of the Sichuan Alliance League. Chen Yifan, who had just got off the car, suddenly sneezed and rubbed his nose, wondering what was going on. Was Meow Meow thinking about him? He naturally didn't know that his prospective father-in-law was already thinking about him. Of course, I guess this guy doesn't mind knowing it. Before becoming boyfriend and girlfriend with Zhang Meow Meow, Chen Yifan was already prepared to face all kinds of obstacles that are coming. Holding the key to open the door, her mother, Liang Wenjing, was stewing rotten pork ribs and stewed potatoes on the gas stove. Seeing Chen Yifan coming back with a bag of things in his hand, Liang Wenjing smiled and said, "You're back. It looks like good harvest today." "Hey, it's okay." Chen Yifan smiled, went back to the house to put the things away, and went to the small kitchen to help his mother. "I have eaten outside, cook less, I can't eat too much." With a smile in her eyes, Liang Wenjing nodded, "Okay, let's finish the stew." At the dinner table, Liang Wenjing began to ask about the date of Chen Yifan and Zhang Meow Meow. Although Chen Yifan was a little shy, he still reported to his mother for a while, but the process of going to the breeding house was omitted in the middle. Liang Wenjing smiled softly, looking at her son who had grown up and had a girlfriend. She suddenly remembered something, reached out and took the bag thrown on the table beside her. While fumbling in the bag, he kept muttering, "I will be an adult in the future. Although our family is poor, we can't let Stephanie spend money. This is 5,000 yuan. You take it first, and if you don't have enough, you can ask Mom for it." Liang Wenjing tidied up the scattered coins in the bag, and handed them all to Chen Yifan. "Mom, I can't have." Chen Yifan shook his head hastily. Liang Wenjing frowned. "If you tell me to take it, just take it. If you are sensible, and you are away from home, how can you let Stephanie spend money?" "Mom, there's more here. It's enough. When you make a lot of money in the future, I can wait to enjoy the blessing." Chen Yifan stared at her mother's gentle smiling face, and saw the fatigue buried deep in her eyes. The years were relentless, and her skin was no longer as smooth as a girl's after 10 or 20 years of fatigue, and the wrinkles at the corners of her eyes were clearly visible. Who knew that she used to be a dazzling and carefree girl? She is old, but in Chen Yifan's eyes, it is still so good-looking. A lonely and helpless woman raised him up with painstaking efforts, never thought of other ways, and never complained about him. She only had the same tenderness and love for him as always. This woman has always left him everything she thinks is the best. Thinking of this, Chen Yifan couldn't hold back the tears that broke the embankment anymore, and burst into tears instantly. Seeing her son uncommon crying, Liang Wenjing was a little anxious, and quickly grabbed his son's hand. "Fan, what's the matter? Why are you still crying? Is there something wrong with Mom?" She was afraid that her son had been wronged outside. She knew that her husband left early, and as a single-parent family, the family situation was not good, and her son must have been discriminated against by those bad kids in class before, but his son was sensible early and never said this in front of her. Thinking of this, Liang Wenjing's tears also flowed down. Chen Yifan hugged his mother tightly, and the mother and son did not speak for a while. After a long time, Chen Yifan's tears stopped. After calming down, Chen Yifan let go of his mother, and saw her mother's worried eyes and the remaining tears in the corners of her eyes. Chen Yifan reached out to help his mother wipe away the tears. Liang Wenjing was still a little worried. What's wrong? Is there something wrong? Chen Yifan shook his head, forced a smile on his face, took out some tissues on the table, and carefully wiped his mother's wet cheeks. Mom, I've grown up, and I can't use your money anymore. You have raised me for so many years, and in the future, it's time for my son to raise you. Liang Wenjing laughed through tears, and couldn't help rubbing Chen Yifan's head. What stupid things, you are my son even if you were an adult, and it is time for you to spend money, and it is right for your mother to give you money. Don't go to work just to subsidize your family's income. Going to a good university is the most important thing for you now. Whether you want to be a trainer or find another job, your mother will support you. Liang Wenjing said earnestly. In her eyes, Chen Yifan will always be that child who can't grow up, and all the efforts she has made are for her son. When the living conditions were the worst, her husband had just died, leaving behind Chen Yifan, who was less than 1 year old. In order to make a living, she worked 3 jobs by herself. She would rather reduce her salary and bring Chen Yifan with her, but she was afraid of having a child. What happened to people at home, even at the expense of giving up their Pokemon partners, just to be able to support themselves and their sons? Haven't you come here all these years? Chen Yifan is everything to her. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.